Quality, innovation, respect, and integrity. Take steps to invest in your career. International Management Consultancy is the leading global marketplace for learning and instruction, helping professionals across the industry to develop skills and expertise to get recognition and growth in the corporate world. We are one of the leading training providers and gradually spreading our training facility amongst candidates based at different geographies, such as Canada, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Lebanon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, India, and many other countries across the globe. IMC is accredited by the highest industry standards. We put in the efforts and we work to prove our commitment to offering our clients only the best and of superior quality. With a uniquely immersive curriculum that combines live instruction from the leading experts, peer-to-peer collaboration, on-demand lessons, unlimited online trainings, and 24/7 learning support. IMC helps over thousands of professionals learn their skills needed to advance their careers and reach their full potential. In line with our commitment to excellence, IMC offers a number of training courses preparing professionals for certifications and exams given by the international associations in areas like management, finance and accounting, human resources, sales and marketing, quality administration, and as well as project management. By fully attending these courses and successfully completing the requirements of the certifying body, participants will receive a special certificate which recognizes their dedication and commitment and in many cases help them earn valuable continuing education credit. IMC Consultants has been working together with their clients from various industries in aligning their people and processes to compete through high speed, excellent quality, and low cost. We strongly believe that the key to our success is our total commitment in delivering value to our clients based on integrity, honesty, and openness. If you are uncertain about which roles or skills are best for you, hurry! Come visit our website or talk to our expert education consultants today. Take a step, invest in your future, empower your knowledge, and be one of our success stories. International Management Consultancy, excellence is what we deliver. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you're able to get an idea and know who is IMC and our services. So before we move forward to the introduction of our trainer, some of you might be thinking of what you will learn from this session. Hence, I'd like to give you a few points of what are the key takeaways that you will get from this training. You will know how to define and understand quality concepts and the evolution of Lean Six Sigma. Secondly, discuss Six Sigma and benefits to sustain business improvement. Third is to explain the role of Six Sigma in customer service and continual improvement. Fourth is to apply and implement the define, measure, analyze, and improve and control problem-solving methodology. Fifth is to examine the statistical background supporting Six Sigma projects, compare between the various tools usually used in Six Sigma project, and explain how to deploy Six Sigma and assess organization readiness to launch a successful Six Sigma project. So without further ado, let me introduce to you all our Lean Six Sigma expert for today. A Delhi University graduate with over 20 years of diversified experience in operations, project management, operational excellence, audit, training, quality, and compliance, with over 150 customized trainings conducted for corporates on Lean Six Sigma.
He is an approved trainer of ActiveT for the Abu Dhabi Center for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, and he catered major institutions such as Qatar University, Indian Institute of Technology, and Indian Institute of Management, and many more. Please all welcome Mr. Shashi Prakash. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Michelle. I hope I'm loud and clear.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Perfect. All right, great. So, just a quick one, I guess. All right, perfect. Thanks. I was just waiting for that. Thank you. So a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to people, because we've got people from across the globe. So I would like to first of all thank each and every one of you for taking out your valuable time. I understand it's a weekend, and it's very important day that we have we have scheduled this program for. But trust, by the end of this training program, you will not regret the investment that you've done in this training program. These 3 hours would definitely be a great learning experience, and I'm telling you based on the feedback from the prior batches that we have gone through. Before we get started, let me just quickly talk about the video that you have seen, because it's very important to understand the service provider here, what we're talking about with IMC. As a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, as a consultant, we do deal with various institutions, various corporates. When it comes to IMC, I really want to talk about this because it is important for each and every one of you to know which institution are you getting associated with as with this particular training program. While you were watching that video about IMC, few things to keep in mind is about the associations it talks about. If I pick up IMC and would like to check the credibility of IMC in the market, well, that's what will give you the justification of it. It is accredited with Council for Six Sigma Certification, which is US based body. Then there's International Quality Federation. Again, that's accredited with that. If you actually go and check out on their website, it will be listed there as an approved training provider for Lean Six Sigma. It is accredited with CPD UK-based certification, which is used by most of the European universities. They take CPD accreditation. So again, IMC is accredited with CPD. By the way, people get CPD certification extra other than IMC certificate, which we'll talk about later. Other than that, when we talk about one of the biggest and renowned names when it comes to Lean Six Sigma, it's IASSC. It's again UK-based. And IMC is one of the accredited partner of IASSC, which is pretty much one of the big name people who I'm sure if you have slightest study about Six Sigma, well, IASSC is the name that people always want. So practically, when we talk about these accreditations, that talks volume about the credibility and the standards IMC has been able to maintain all these years. And it's just that we have been trying to make sure that what we serve to the people, to our customers, to the participants, it's always up to date. It's the syllabus, the material that we actually go through. It's not about the outlook. We can't continually look at it. We continually revise the material to make sure it's updated, latest. We're not learning and teaching something which is outdated. And trust, if we don't want to talk about an institution, it would be wrong. But yes, syllabus we've been taught, because I do hiring for my projects. I do hiring for my clients. And a lot of such people who are into Lean Six Sigma consulting. We happen to meet people, we happen to interview people who have learned things which are obsolete. Nobody cares about those things. And unfortunately, people have still been taught those things. What is latest, what is prevalent, what is future has to be understood. And that's what we continually strive to go and make sure the training methodology is in such a way that people end up taking training where they learn, they should be able to implement it. It should not be just another certificate which gets added on your profile, which probably we may not use. Honestly, have I taken such trainings where probably I have attended the training, got the certification? Yes, it's on my profile, but I have never done anything about it. Yes. Everyone has attended such trainings. But Lean Six Sigma is something which can do wonders, because if we actually understand the concept, well, there's no looking back. As far as your career is concerned, the monetary gains are concerned, there is no looking back. I come from a service industry background. A quick, I won't get into too much of detail about myself, but yeah, I have roughly about now 21 plus years of experience. Good 14 years was engaged with the corporate sector in service sector, and that to specifically BPOs with US and Australian clients. Since 2014, I have been actively doing Lean Six Sigma management training and consulting. That's the only thing what I do practically. I prefer to be master of one rather jack of all trades. I'm a certified project management practitioner. But what I do now is when I consult and do this training and projects with various institutions globally, it involves every possible industry. We worked with oil and natural gas, construction, pharmaceutical industry, data centers, for that matter, publication houses, IT, healthcare, practically whatnot. Well, you name the industry, at least like I have gone ahead and like worked with so many different industries. What is my core knowledge about those industries? Absolutely zero. Do I need to know? Trust not. As Lean Six Sigma professionals know. You don't have any boundaries, you don't have any restrictions. Any industry is your industry. Should you know what is Six Sigma? Well, practically there's no foundation thereafter. Which industry? That's irrelevant. Then what's the point I'm talking about? Which department or what background? Well, every department is your department. You can work with operations, you can work within quality, you can work in training, finance, marketing. It doesn't matter. So when we deal with stakeholders like CEOs, CXOs, and CTOs to solve the business problem, every industry has a lot of tools and techniques they use. Six Sigma fits in everywhere. That's the beauty of it. So it's a universal tool. If we get the concept right, well, there's, as I said, there's no looking back from there on. So what is important, and that's the biggest gap that I see when I do hiring for my projects or for my clients, or when we have taken feedback from various stakeholders globally, what is the biggest challenge that they see? The problem is that people have gone through training, they've learned theory, they know a lot of tools, but when to use what tool is the missing link. The transition of theory to practical is the missing link, and that's the biggest gap. Unfortunately, a lot of companies do not have a Six Sigma culture. So a lot of people do not end up getting that experience of doing it. And that's where the biggest gap lies. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know how to use it, when to use what. And that's where we try to bridge that gap to make sure the people who undergo the training from IMC, well, they have no questions, no disconnects with that's from that standpoint. Let's have a look at it. First of all, these are some sample projects. This is how the project actually training also goes on. So people who undergo training are expected to work on simulation projects. That's how real world projects will also look like. So you have no questions, no doubt about how a project needs to be done, because you end up doing it. Well, teaching you theory and expecting you to do practical, well, it will be unrealistic on my part. Well, it's Six Sigma professional's job is a practitioner's job. You have to demonstrate, you have to do it, you have to solve a business problem. So unless and until I have that level of understanding, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done practically, well, then pretty much it will be unrealistic. But unfortunately, people don't talk about it. Well, this is where there is a big gap. Like, there are a lot of people who have taken up certification, but most of us are not into that role. Why? Because nobody teaches that. So it's more from a responsibility of the people who are doing this project, who are doing this real works. So as a consultant, I'm less of a trainer, more of a consultant, but I love training. So I'm a part of, as a master black belt, you're supposed to coach and counsel. So yes, that's what I also love doing. So this is how a real world project will also look like. So you will know how to do it. So it's not no slides that you won't see any slides when you're training, because if it's a slide, you can also read the slide. I can give you a book, you can read it, you can look at a video. Well, pretty much anyone can do that. I can read. But telling you what needs to be and how it needs to be, the hand holding is required. So that's how a project will look like. people switch industries. And trust, Six Sigma professionals do not come in cheap. They're really, really expensive professionals. So practically it's the core essence is you should know the concept, right? And these like lots and lots of tools which will require lots of statistical tools, a lot of project management tools, a lot of quality management tools. All we need to know how to use them and when to use them. So more for practical experiential learning is the best kind of learning, where you don't have to mug up anything. You can demonstrate, you can explain, you can do everything. There are different these projects were completed by different participants who have undergone, and people have switched industries. I'm talking about this one. Actually, the person was into a manufacturing industry, switched to a service industry in a very, very respectable position. So practically, these are simulation projects, and these simulation projects are exactly work the way real world projects work. So pretty much you have no more confusion or about how it needs to be done. So you exactly as good as an experienced person. To get that level of understanding, yes, you got to have training, but practically in that mode way, the way project works. So it's more of a project-based module, the way we go about training. And if I talk about implementation of Six Sigma, well, that's a simple, and this is not all of it. That Six Sigma has been implemented in every possible industry. And these are probably some of these aviation related, banking and finance, you've got construction, like people have gone and implemented Six Sigma almost everywhere. This list is not the end of the industries, but practically I've covered a lot of them. So, but by the way, this is still incomplete. There are tons of industry. There's no such industry where it's untouched. Every possible industry, people are using Six Sigma. People are benefiting because of Six Sigma. We will understand the power of Six Sigma today itself, what we talk about it, but trust, it is what is needed. It's quite possible we may not have known it. We may not know that people are using Six Sigma in so and so industry, but people are doing it. It's just that we don't know it. There's some case studies that I have already compiled, and I keep adding to this list as and when I keep finding some. One I'm yet to add to this, which is semiconductor. We just completed one of the like a training for one of the like semiconductor manufacturing company, the OEM, just yesterday itself. So practically we dealt with every possible industry when it comes to Six Sigma. So that's probably a list of what we can talk about. Barring that, I guess somebody's mic is on. Let me just put that everyone on mute. Okay, all right. So that's on the project part of it. We do share the sample files for you to work upon in the project. So you will know like these projects will be actually worked during the this data will be analyzed, will end up understanding how it's done. So you can work on a project. Okay, I guess Mr. Vincent, I guess your mic gets unmuted. So just please keep that on mute in case you have to share anything. Yes, you can, please. So that's the sample files, and the other sample files depending on different industries we share. But practically you end up learning about every possible project, type of project we can work upon, because when you get into Six Sigma, you have an understanding. It doesn't matter which industry it comes from, because data is going to be analyzed. Maths has no language. Maths has no industry. Well, maths is going to be treated as maths. And do you need to be a master in statistics, or you have to be expert in maths? Well, I was always scared, and I'm till date scared of maths. So you don't need to get, well, yes, about 15, 20 years back, well, people had to be great at maths to understand Six Sigma. But thanks, nowadays we have advanced tools, and even for that matter, Excel is one very much advanced nowadays. So it's just that probably we may not have explored the potential of Excel. So having said that, before we get going with the real topics and for today's discussion, when people talk about Six Sigma today, they talk about Six Sigma professionals who have knowledge of Minitab. Now, what's Minitab now? It's the most advanced statistical software used by all Six Sigma professionals currently. Within a span of like what now we just almost started the 6th month in this year, I have trained about 5 corporates globally and big giants, and I've trained people on Minitab. Now, people who got trained were Six Sigma green belts, Six Sigma black belts, who have taken up training, who are certified, they've written an exam, but they don't know how to use Minitab. And it is the only tool practically, I would say, which is used as like 99.99% of Six Sigma professionals use Minitab. And that's what is the need of the corporates want ready material, people who have knowledge of Six Sigma and of Minitab, because they end up spending a lot of money, and these trainings are very costly. When we end up training on Minitab specifically, I have been doing those trainings. This is how the syllabus of Minitab looks like. This is all statistical stuff that we end up learning in the Six Sigma. Well, nobody does that. Well, you might be given a handful of questions. Well, this is where it's practical. You will learn how to do it. You will be practicing on Minitab, you'll be working on it, and pretty much it's all, there's lots of statistics. That's how your Minitab looks like. So you don't have to go through a separate training. One for learning the concept, and then for going ahead and kind of learning for the Minitab. No, I'm sure when you were looking at all those simulation projects, you saw the output and which was presented, the analysis that was all done through Minitab. So while you're learning it, you learn it the right way on Minitab. Plus, there are a lot of things which can be done in Excel. Yes, we still learn on Excel as well, but Excel has limitations. So whatever is possible in Excel, we definitely make sure people understand that. Plus, Minitab definitely covers error. When you start using Minitab, obviously there's nothing more which is required beyond that. But that's on the basic need of it, because it's when we talk about the current scenario with specific to Lean Six Sigma, people are looking for professionals who have Six Sigma expertise with Minitab knowledge. Okay, I guess Mr. Vincent, I guess can you please put your mic? Mr. Vincent, can you mute yourself? I have tried doing it twice or thrice. Mr. Vincent, I have to do it myself again. Oh, well, I'm not sure. He keeps switching it back on, or in which ways. Well, so that's basically the basic introduction part of it that we wanted to kind of make sure that we all understand the basic nitty-gritties of Lean Six Sigma, what institution you're going to, and pretty much then we talk about the whereabouts associated with Six Sigma and real world, what matters. I'm trying to give you the realistic picture. When people have taken Six Sigma certification, what is the corporates looking for? What are the recruiters looking for? That's what we're trying to kind of address those issues, making sure that people who end up taking trainings and they invest their time, pretty much they should be able to get some tangible benefit out of that training and certification. So on that note, let's get started. I hope everyone is on the same page and everyone is here for exactly the same things that we discussed. I hope everyone is on the same page. Is this why we are here? I hope we don't have any disconnect. Is it okay with everyone?
Copy that.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and check this out. So we'll get going with the first thing first. Let's go and talk about from a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt perspective. First of all, we'd like to understand when we say Lean Six Sigma, well, is it one word or two different words? You may use your chat options to share your views. When you say Lean Six Sigma, is it one word or two different words we're talking about? All right, so Japheth says it's two. Premlal says two, Robert says two, and you're right about that. Well, thank you. Perfect. Let's then start with the lean then. Lean and Six Sigma, they are two different words. Undoubtedly, Lean and Six Sigma are absolutely different. They're two different ways of improving the process. So you just don't learn one, you learn both of them, and they are two different words. Absolutely different philosophies, different methods of improving the process. So that's what we're going to talk about from a Lean Six Sigma perspective. So Six Sigma we'll talk about later. Let's get over with Lean first. All right, so anyone would like to share what's your understanding of Lean? If somebody would ask you, like you're sitting for a job interview, a recruiter asks you, what do you mean by Lean? As per your understanding, what do you mean by Lean? What's your interpretation of Lean? Minimum, yes, perfect. That's also correct. Conservative, okay, that's also fine. Lean is prioritizing preventing waste. Yes, you're right about that. Yes, preventing waste. Anyone else has a different perspective? What is Lean as per your understanding? Lean is waste reduction. Thank you. Waste elimination, 100% correct. So we all have got the idea of Lean. Trust, this is nothing new. Well, concise, perfect. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, you cannot go wrong with the definition of lean because trust everyone out here, we have practiced lean. We all have been doing lean all a life long. We have, it's not a new concept we could talk about. We all know lean. This is common sense and everyone understands it. There's nothing. So yes, I won't talk about Six Sigma that way, but lean is definitely everyone is aware of. You all have been practicing lean. Well, may not be with a purpose. You may not have been quantifying it. You may not have been measuring it. You might be doing it in bits and pieces. You may not be implementing lean in a structured manner. But yes, you all know lean, and trust as we move forward, we'll have that understanding. Yes, we all know that. Let me kind of use your definitions you've shared and draft it in a way. So it's identification and elimination of waste from the process, exactly all that the way you said it, to improve efficiency of the process, efficiency rather, without compromising on the quality of product or service. Well, let's break the sentence down and product or service. Let's understand this. So what first we say it's identification and elimination of waste from the process to improve the efficiency. While you implement that and you try to improve the efficiency by removing the waste, you don't want to be compromising on the quality of your product or service. Let's understand in a simple way. We all have processes, a lot of process in every organization, with whether you're in a manufacturing sector or you're in a service industry. It doesn't matter which industry you're in, but there are lots of process steps. Say this is department A. They do some work and the output of department A goes to department B. Now the department B does its bit of processing, that output goes to department C, and then output of C goes to department E. Similarly, we have different process steps. And finally, at the end of step F, my process gets completed. So I have a product by the end of step F, or I have a service delivered at the end of step F. So it takes 15 days time. Hypothetically, it roughly takes me 15 days time in these different departments. Whatever activity I was doing, I get a product or service delivered. Now, what it says with the respect of lean, you got to understand every process step has certain activities done. There's some people involved. There's a machinery cost. There's raw material cost. There's a lot of things involved in every step. And there are lots of activities done in every department, every activity. And every activity is a cost. Every activity is consuming some time. What it says with the use of knowledge of lean tools, if you have understanding of lean definition, try to use that lean knowledge and try to identify what all steps, what all activities that you see in this process can be termed as waste. There is a definition of waste. We'll talk about it. Right now, we just started. So we just hypothetically assuming that by the knowledge of lean tools, when we applied the lean knowledge, we figured out that the step number B is a waste. We'll know how. But for now, let's say we figured out this step B is waste. And we also figured out that E step is also waste. So first process step is to identify with the lean knowledge basis the lean principles, what would you call as a waste? So you investigate your process and you find out the waste in the system, identify. Now since you've identified, well, then why keep the waste? Get the waste out of the system. Well, that's what your process looks like now. Now that's what it takes me only 10 days. You saved a lot of time. You remove the waste from the system. Well, is your customer happy? Yes, super happy. I had to wait for 15 days. Now I'm getting in 10 days. My customer is really happy. Well, aren't you happy? Yes, you saved a lot of money, time, effort, resource. So your process has become lean. A fact process has turned lean process. While you did that, you did not compromise on the quality of product or service. Your product quality, your service quality cannot be compromised when you're trying to implement lean. So there was waste in the system, which was sitting there. Nobody bothered, nobody criticized the process. Now with the knowledge of lean tools, I have gone ahead and eliminated the waste that was not supposed to be there. My process is lean. Lean is all about the time, speed of the process. Simply, it talks about, can you deliver product or service faster. Lean is all about time. It's how do you deliver it faster? How do you cut down time? By identifying waste and eliminating waste. So lean is all about optimizing the time. This is lean. This is technically lean. You want to optimize the speed of the process. You want to optimize the process efficiency. Your process has become more efficient. You saved on every front. So optimization of process has been done in terms of efficiency has gone better in terms of what? Cost. You're saving the money that you are spending in step number B and E, cost of resource, cost of raw material, cost of anything which was been spent in these two steps, because you saved on efforts, you saved on raw material, resources, all those things, etc., etc. Whatever you were investing there, now you're saving. Your process has become more efficient. That's what it's all about lean. So lean is no rocket science. It's just about observation. Well, simple question. How do you fix apply lean? Well, lean is purely observation based. The only tool in lean is observation. What do you fix with lean? What you see is what you fix in lean world. It's visible waste. There are visible waste issues or waste. What do we call this? That's what is fixed with lean. So what is visible to you? You go and see your process. You observe the process, every single activity that you do with the application of lean tools. You try to find out which activities can be called as waste. You observe, you don't see fine, you understand this is waste, eliminate it. That's what is lean. Simple stuff. It's absolutely simple. And just to make sure that we all have that level of understanding and confidence that it is simple. Well, as I said in the beginning, I can't teach you anything about lean because you all know lean. This is common sense. Everyone knows it. But yes, as I said, that we may not have been measuring it. We may not have been quantifying it. We may not have been doing it with a purpose. We may not have been doing it regularly. We may not have been doing it in a structured manner. And hence, we may not have got the benefits. Well, have a look at this, a quick short video, and trust me, tell me whether you know lean or not. I'm going to play a quick short video here. Was this audio was this video audible initially, whatever I played, or I need to reshare with the audio? Is it audio? Is the audio visible? Like audible to everyone? When I play this, okay, perfect. I understand. Then what I need to do is to reshare. Give me one quick second. Let me reshare this with the audio, and you will be able to hear. Kindly confirm if in case now you're able to hear.
Yes, we can.
Perfect, perfect. So I'm going to be talking in between. Please have a look at the video. Remember, we're trying to implement lean, and lean is all about time. This is about a toast making process. It doesn't matter what process, manufacturing, service industry, or whatever industry, it doesn't matter. This is exactly you will be doing in lean. You have to watch out every single activity in the process and identify that as a waste. If it's a waste, eliminate that activity, and that will speed up the process. Let's have a look at it, the video. First activity, you got to measure the time as well.
The toaster on the right tends to burn the toast.
Remember, every activity that we're doing is consuming time. Even this waiting time is consuming time. Lot many things could have been done better, even this by step number 18 to speed up the process. This lady has no idea what she's doing.
Hey Steve, did you want that toast plain?
No. Hey, about the,
I got it.
about the,
I got it.
really, about the butter.
No, I got it.
Rach, no, really, about the butter.
Oh goodness.
Okay, here you go.
Rach, one piece would have been plenty. I really wanted jelly on it.
All right, so I hope there's nothing out here which you don't realize that what should not have been done. It's just about observing your process from beginning till the end. Observe every single activity. And do you really need to understand lean? Well, we definitely want to understand the process of implementation of lean, but yes, is it so difficult to go about understanding what could have been done better in this process? Anyone? Probably, what all do you think you could have done better in the process? We had to implement lean to serve the customer faster. Suggestions? Motion should have been shortened. Yes, absolutely. Yes. What else? Many items can have been removed. Yes. How about the order? Yes, the customer order should have been taken first. Yes, the customer order should have been taken first, which is absolutely not there. Things were not at all planned. This was out of place. This lady had no idea. Process was out of place. Absolutely no planning, nothing. A lot of back and forth of activities and unplanned activities. That's what you got to do. And trust, this was a great process. If I talk about real world scenarios, when you do consulting, we have seen organizations with even worse situation than this. It happens everywhere. It's just that we might be probably laughing at this process, but trust, this is a better process than we have seen in real world organizations working in worse situation than this. It's just about every process has to be introspected. You have to look at every process step, understand how much time do you invest in every process step, and then just plan. You go about cutting out the waste in the system. You go about removing the unwanted activities in the process. And that's what is lean. Yes, you have tons of waste in this process, but I hope it's nothing different and nothing difficult for anyone to understand lean. Well, when we talk about lean, lean is very, very simple. but yes, it's very difficult to implement. Why? Because it's simple. Since it's simple, it gets undervalued. And people get fascinated by graph, charts, analysis. Six Sigma is very fancy. Absolutely, will definitely be very impressed with Six Sigma because it's about analysis, tough stuff. But practically, that's what it is. But answers to the biggest complex situations will always be in simpler solutions, and that's what is lean. And just want before we switch to the next topic, really want to make sure that we understand the process here. When you implement lean, it's not your choice. It's a hygiene parameter. It has to be there. It's non-negotiable. Every organization should have lean implemented. Well, if your lean is not implemented properly, your Six Sigma will struggle. The foundation of Six Sigma is lean. The companies where lean is done, like is implemented in a perfect way, Six Sigma will show its true colors, true benefits in that organization. So foundation is always laid down by lean. You have to make sure the organization is lean centric. It's pretty simple, common sense, but it's difficult. It's difficult because it's simple. People will always undervalue, people will always end up ignoring these small things. And these small things are done constantly by everyone. And that adds up to a big number. And that's what we need to find out in the process. Now, when we talk about identifying the waste, well, I would request people who are aware of it, and I did see somebody mentioning those nomenclatures, wastes. How do you categorize waste? Anyone who would like to kind of pitch in? What are the different types of waste? Yes, that is correct. 7+1 types of waste. The old version, the Japanese version, was 7 types of waste. So when you talk about 7 types of waste, it was the older version, which was the Japanese version. And now the 8th waste was added later on. And that's when now we call it as 8 waste in the system. When you're looking at a process, you're trying to identify. See, the most critical part is about identification. When you identify, you will be able to eliminate. The question is, what would you categorize as a waste? What is the definition of waste in the first place? Before we talk about this one, let's have an understanding of quick definition of what is a waste. Simply, any activity which adds no value to the customer or the process is a waste. Technically, that's in simple terms. Any activity which adds no value to the customer doesn't benefit, nor the process benefits out of it, it is a waste. And there are tons of activities which this lady was doing. All in all, we have to first know how bad the situation is. So measurement, it's an old proverb, if you cannot measure, you cannot improve. Knowing where you are is the first step to success. When you've done the measurement part, probably you already solved 90% of your problem. Awareness of the current situation is more important, more critical. So if you know how bad the situation is, you can start improvement. So 80%, 90% of improvement is first understanding how bad the situation is. Measurement is the first important part. Even for that matter, Six Sigma, it's about realization of where you are right now is the first step. So when we talk about 7 types of waste, we had the thanks to, I guess we had this answer from Sachin and Chakrabarti. So thank you. Yes, that's what we use, the acronym called Tim Woods. Tim Wood was the old version. Tim Woods is the 8th was the old version was Tim Woods 7 waste, and Tim Woods is the 8th one. So we have added S to this list. Let's break this down. Well, would request people to help me out with this. What do you mean by T? Transportation. Yes, you're right about that. Let's kind of expand that. Transportation waste. How about I? Oh, right. Perfect. So we got the list now. Motion waste. Oh, sorry. Motion waste, waiting waste, overproduction waste, overprocessing waste, defects or reworks in the process, and finally the skills, which is unutilized skills. This is unutilized, not the one which we are not able to utilize. Let's go in detail, like somewhat not in absolute detail, but given the time that we have got, we can quickly run through this list and we'll at least have that understanding, right? What is that I should be looking for in my process? When you mean by transportation waste, what does it mean? It's unnecessary movement of material, thing, or information not about people. Remember, it's not about movement of people. It's about material thing or information. When you keep shifting things from one place to another because you did not plan in the first place, so you dump your material in specifically in case of construction industry. We see that happening a lot. When we do consulting work in construction industry, where for that matter, any manufacturing industry, that happens a lot. People move material from one place to another. That movement adds no value to the process. Why? Because why do we do that movement? Because we don't realize, we don't plan in the first place, and that's what we end up kind of doing that kind of waste. If I were to kind of just to make sure that we understand this process, what is this motion waste, this transportation waste? Let's say we have got a construction site, just kind of, this is our construction site. And we realize that we need to have, we get some raw material, we have to construct some buildings here. So I dump all my raw material here. And that's when I probably realize, oh, well, probably actually this is where we will be constructing some tower number 5 or tower number 6. We dump the material in wrong place. So we have to again use the cranes, forklifts and trucks, and then we dig this, like pick up material and then probably dump it here. Well, later on we realize, oh, I'm sorry, well, this is where the park will be done and probably the swimming pool will be created. Well, then pretty much you dump it somewhere else. You keep shifting the material and you keep dumping the material, you're utilizing the resources of organization. So since we don't plan in the first place, we keep shifting material from one place to another, and that's what is, it uses resources of the organization in terms of like trucks, cranes, forklifts. Well, that's more from a manufacturing industry. Well, how about the IT one? Practically, when you talk about information which circulates from one place to another, email traffic, that is again information waste, because you're utilizing the servers, you're utilizing the capacity, because you are transporting the information, the unnecessary email traffic. That again is email traffic. When you talk about shifting materials, that will be in case of IT world, it'll be emails that you do, like unnecessary emails which keep shifting, keep getting floating across. This email spamming which continues to happen. Is it not a transportation waste? Are you not utilizing the servers? You're utilizing internet, you're utilizing server, electricity. For bottom line, there is cost for every email there as well, but that's not been treated as a waste. We don't care about this. We have to get into the habit of treating that as a waste. We have to go and observe into the process. Are we shifting things unnecessarily, moving things unnecessarily? That's when we say, well, transportation waste is happening. We need to cut this down in my process. So every process step, when you note down every process step, you have to identify, am I doing this waste? Am I doing a transportation waste? Am I doing an inventory waste? Every process step, you have to ask this question. Let's move to the next one. Inventory waste. When we talk about inventory waste, well, it's unnecessary inventory, or pretty much the excess inventory that we talk about, which is not good for any organization. Well, excess inventory more than required. Well, hypothetically, let's talk about it. I purchased some raw material and the cost of raw material is $10,000. Well, that's my cost, actual cost of raw material. Well, that was not required. I procured extra raw material, and now is it the only cost, or there's something more attached to it? Is that the only money which is stuck now? Because as a businessman, my money should be always in circulation. I should be able to make money out of my money. But if my money has been tied up as this, my capital has been tied up as inventory, now obviously that money is stuck up till the time I don't get a demand. This money, this inventory, raw material will be sitting idle, and I will not make money out of this one. But is it the only cost that I'm bearing here? Is it the only cost? We got people from different industries. Just think about it. It's time for us to go and introspect and understand. Is it the only cost? The $10,000 worth of inventory, the cost of inventory is just $10,000. What else is there? Hidden cost. Where is the hidden cost? Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right about that. Storage costs. You got to keep it somewhere. There'll be storage cost. Security. Yes, you will have the manpower. You'll have a problem of like you might have to do the insurance of that inventory if it's expensive raw material. Yes. What if this inventory gets damaged? There will be risk factor that you have to deal with. You have resource costs. You have what you call obsolescence cost. What if we get outdated, and practically there's a shelf life also. Every inventory expires. So it is not just 10,000. There's more hidden costs which we don't account for. Expiry, yes, this inventory holding costs, carrying costs, all those different costs are there. So it is not just $10,000 that we should be complaining about. There are more hidden costs attached to it because you procured extra inventory which was not required. You know the best one in the industry, who started the lean concept. We'll talk about the history part, but the leader in terms of lean is Toyota. These guys gave the world the concept of lean. Came from Toyota industry. Now let's help us understand. Anyone knows how much inventory Toyota keeps? What's the inventory Toyota works with? Anyone has an idea? Thank you. You're right about that. Toyota has simple zero inventory concept. Toyota has zero inventory in their system. Absolutely zero. They don't keep any inventory. They are very, very clear about this concept that we are not suppliers. We are not supposed to keep and store the material. That's not my job. I'm a manufacturer. I will not stock up inventory. And we're pretty clear about it. Let's see how do they manage. Right now we hear about the shortage of semiconductors. Yes, JIT is the concept they work with. JIT is just in time approach that they work with, just in time. And we'll quickly understand how they manage. So we won't get into details, but what this concept of just in time says, you only order pretty much at the right time, right place, right time, right place, right quantity, right quality, right price. Nothing before, nothing after, nothing less, nothing more. Pretty much just right on time. Toyota, they only order what is needed. They only order and they completely do it. Practically, no. Well, let's understand that. Good that you mentioned. They have reliable suppliers. They make the people suppliers reliable. It's important to understand that part. Let's go and understand how do they manage. Well, they keep zero inventory with themselves. Well, these guys were smart people, very, very smart people. This is the older version I'm talking about. I'll give you the new version of Toyota, what they work with. That was the older version of Toyota facility. So this is the manufacturing unit of Toyota. Well, as I said, they have zero inventory. They don't want to keep any inventory. Their contracts team, when they sign up a contract with a supplier, they have they had a clause. I'm talking with the older version. Even older version was so stringent. You can be anywhere. Your headquarters can be anywhere in the world. We don't care. You got to do business with us. You have to be within 30 minutes drive of Toyota facility. We don't care. Well, you got to have your store within 30 minutes, your warehouse. Well, you got to do business with us. You have to comply with this. So within 30 minutes, we will not keep any material with us. Well, when they are car dealers, when the people come and book a car, Toyota car, through the ERP system, the software, they get to know how many cars were booked, how many people have paid the token money. Say hypothetically, 50 cars have been booked. Token for 50 cars have been paid at various locations in the car dealers for Toyota. They will relay this information to various suppliers that we need raw material worth 50 cars. And as per the contract, 30 minutes, they should be able to supply this raw material back to Toyota. That's what the contract was. 30 minutes was the time frame. They were bounded legally by this one. Like, let's see, they were not happy with this. 30 minutes is too much. Let's understand. What these guys end up doing now, this is the current version of Toyota. You can't wait. There are 1,500 plus suppliers right on the boundary, on the fences. You can't be anywhere else. 30 minutes is too much for my customers to wait. Well, they don't keep the 1,500 plus suppliers right in the fence. They keep it. Well, you got to do business when we ask, we need it. When we need it, we'll ask for it. They have to provide just in time. Who stocks up inventory? The suppliers. Well, somebody of us might be sort of thinking about why these guys don't keep up inventory so much, because practically everyone has to stock up inventory. Like there's a crisis going on globally for this semiconductor. There's shortage of semiconductor. The last one in the entire world who will be concerned about this shortage is Toyota. Why? Because when life was normal, everything was normal, semiconductor shortage was not there. If the price of a semiconductor was X dollars, these guys were smart enough to understand things may not remain the same, and there might be a situation where there will be a crisis. So when everything was normal, they secured the same a contract with the semiconductor original equipment manufacturer, who are manufacturers of the equipment, the semiconductor, at 10% extra price. They secured a exclusive first right contract. So if world was paying X, they were paying X plus 10% extra. First right. So basically they are legally, they have the contract. Suppliers have to, if they produce less, still Toyota will have the first right on that. They don't have to stock up. They secured this deal. Now today, probably this price is not the X. Now the current price has changed much higher, but Toyota is still paying this because now they were smart enough to understand the fluctuation of market. And if anything which is more of a leftover is available for others, these guys have already like procured or secured this kind of deal, legally bound deal. So practically don't have to worry. Well, if there will be a semiconductor manufactured, the first right on that semiconductor will be of Toyota. That's how they're smart enough to understand. People were happy. People were sort of, obviously people mocked it when it's available at lower price. Why are you securing deal at higher price? They were smart enough to understand. Now that probably the price of the same semiconductor is probably almost twice, but they are paying still the same price, which is X plus 10. Well, they were smart enough. They don't have to stock up inventory. Having said that, can everyone work with this kind of logic of just in time? No. These guys could deal with this kind of philosophy because Toyota is massive. Not everyone can deal and dictate terms like Toyota. At times suppliers are too big to dictate terms. So yes, that's going to be offline out of our syllabus. But yes, when you do consulting, we do work with this. And please, if anyone has to deal with this industry, where technically the inventory part of it, well, do check out this Google up. You'll find your answers there. This is more from when you may want to maintain a safety stock. Some bit of calculations are done. Some bit of you don't want to stock up too much. And for that, generally we work with EOQ model. EOQ model is economic order quantity model. So we all understand when you order a large volume, we pay a lesser price. When you order less, you pay a higher price. The EOQ model will help you understand the right sweet spot where you just pay the lowest price at the lowest inventory. So you don't have to, so you try to find a strike like a right sweet spot, a right equilibrium, right balance, where you're just paying the lowest and getting the lowest possible inventory. So this is pretty good way to kind of check it. But yes, you need to sort of Google up, and it's a lot of literature is available. Do check this out in case your area of specialization is around inventory, then pretty much it makes sense for you to check this out. But that's more on the inventory part. Well, before we move ahead, I hope we are going fine. It's okay with everyone?
Yes.
Perfect. Let's then move ahead. Coming to the motion waste, well, that's where the biggest disguise we have in a system. Biggest, absolutely yes. This is unnecessary movement of people. That's us. When we move too much to do our job, that is when we are creating this waste, unnecessary motion waste. Motion is about people waste, moving here and there. If you have to do too much of movement to do your job, you are creating motion waste. Well, before I get into the details here, let me sort of again quickly take a small bit of example to explain. Before I got into consulting, my last employment, when I sort of left the salaried kind of job, way back in 2014, like I was engaged with a MNC, and like we had a huge facility. My cabin was somewhere here, and like everyone had their printers, so I had also one of that. Now people used to complain every now and then that their printers are not working, some problem. Management was sick and tired, so they took away everyone's printer and they placed a huge centralized printer somewhere here. So everyone, we were habitual of giving printout. So every time when I give a printout, I'll get out of my seat, get into these cubicles, walk in around the cubicles, hoping I did not stop and chit chat anywhere. Well, I go purposefully to pick up a printout, come back. Well, is that movement adding any value to the customer? No. Is that adding any value to the process? No. That was just more of a walk for me. And I just gave a printout walk. Well, who cares? Who calculates how much time did I waste? I did that way back. And that was an eye opener for me. Well, that's what before I got into consulting. I did purposeful walk. How long does it take if I don't stop anywhere? 3 minutes to go to the printer, purposefully going to pick up a printout without stopping, without talking to anyone. 3 minutes to come back. 6 minutes wasted in a day for one printout. On an average, I used to give roughly about 3 printouts. So technically 6 minutes per printout multiplied by 3 in a day. Who cares? The moment you give a printout, just get up from the system, go and pick it up. Who cares for every minute? Where is it going? Well, nobody. Well, just do the maths and you'll be astonished. 18 minutes per day multiplied by 22 days in a month, keeping in mind Saturday, Sundays off. So you wasted 396 minutes in a month multiplied by 12. That's the number of minutes wasted in a year. Divided by 60, that's the number of hours. And divided by, say, 8-hour shift we had. Like, so I wasted 9.9 days of salary in a year, walking in the corridor, picking up a printout. And that's just one activity. And that's just about me. Everyone in organization is doing such motion waste without realizing how much of money are we wasting. And that's adding no value. Who cares? Well, Japanese take account of 1 second. We're talking about minute, they take account of every second, 1 second. How many times you bend and you come back? That's also counted in lean world. Japanese are so particular about it. So that's where you got to do a full and complete utilization of resource, because every movement is adding time. And that time, if it's not in a right way, then it's a waste, pretty much. The identification of this problem, identification of the problem is done via what we call as spaghetti diagram. And solution of this problem comes from U-shaped cellular layout. Let's quickly Google up, and at least you can go and scroll and check it out later. That's more when you do consulting, we get into that. U-shaped cellular layout. Let's go and first check out spaghetti diagram. That's the spaghetti diagram. So what you do is time and motion study. You track. This is how you have to have a layout of your process, your different departments that you have. You try to understand how your process moves and how much of movement people are doing from one place to another, how you move. Practically, if your process has to move in a certain direction, you will find lots of evidence how people have created. These are actual layouts, and there are different departments which people have tracked. You will count every single step that you have taken in the process to reach from one place to another. How long did you take? And these are tons of examples. Just you have to kind of go and check out with the kind of industry you're in. But bottom line, doesn't matter which industry, it's more about quantification of movement. Every single step counts. So, and remember, everyone is doing it. So it is that motion waste. These are some examples of before and after. So before, it's just that, why does it happen? Because it's a poor layout. People have occupied spaces without realizing how my process moves. The more you move, the more waste you create. And there are tons of examples. All you need to do is go and check out how many steps you could travel. All you got to do is cut down the number of steps and look at redesigning the layout, occupying, because people have occupied places without realizing how much off movement is happening in my process. So that could be a revised version where we don't cross each other's path. And the answer will be given by something what we call as U-shaped cellular layout. This is the initial problem that we're dealing with. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. That's my process, how it moves. So step number 1 to step number 2 comes here. Step number 3 goes here. Step number 4 comes here. It has to be this way. A U-shaped layout. All Japanese companies are working in a U-shaped layout. All manufacturing facilities or IT world, whatever it may be, that's a traditional one. Straight. That's a U-shaped layout. The way your process moves, similarly, your process should move and start like this. These are all examples. All Japanese companies by default work with a U-shaped layouts. A manufacturing service industry doesn't matter. All are U-shaped layouts, everything. Why? Because there's less of motion waste. You don't have to travel. If these two people have to coordinate, they don't have to travel a lot. They will be able to share things in between very closely. Bottom line, there are tons of information. Again, here you have to just check out relevant to your industry, or probably just more about understanding the concept. Go into your process and see. Obviously, you not change everything in one go. You might just make small change in one area and then quantify the improvement. Again, make another change, again, quantify the improvement. So it's a gradual. Lean is very subtle. Lean is done in a very, very gradual manner. It's never a full throttle change. It's always a gradual manner. So you quantify the improvement, and hence it's gradually moves on. So all examples, you have to just do some bit of searches here. You will find your answers, but there are tons of examples how people have changed the old layout with the new layout, how the old work process was working, how they sort of redesigned, restructured. It has to be done one time for sure. Why? Because it is a constant waste which is created all throughout the year. Everyone will be doing it. It's a massive one when you count for everyone. So it's more about, yes, quantifying this change to the improvement and to the management. They will be happy to invest because you will be able to quantify the time that I did here as well. You can also quantify that for everyone. That's going to be massive waste. So that's on the motion part. Coming to waiting, well, that's self-explanatory. I hope nobody needs an additional clarification here. Waiting, why would you wait? Lean is all about cutting down time. Lean is all about reducing the time. Waiting means waiting for what? First of all, waiting for what in the process? Well, waiting for inventory, waiting for basically when we say inventory, basically waiting for raw material, waiting for approval, waiting for instructions, waiting for resources, waiting for what? Basically, if your process steps A completes, B does not start, then technically there will be a waiting period. And I have to understand by watching out my process, where is a waiting period? And I have to find out ways to eliminate that. Knowing the current situation is more important. So yes, you watch out every process step and quantify every process step, the time that you invest. So you have to start measuring it. Next thing, it says overproduction. Well, producing more than required or demanded by the customer. Well, that is one of created overproduction waste, where you will have extra created. Well, the same thing applies here. You had raw material, but the extra cost. Now raw material has turned into a finished good. You have a finished good. That cost is still there, but the overproduction has now been, it's a finished good. Now the work has been done, the investment has all been done even more, but resource cost, machinery cost. Now the cost of finished good is 50,000. You're waiting for demand so you can sell this till the time it's sitting in your warehouse, and all that extra cost is still there. That's again going to be creating a problem. Over processing is, well, when you, this generally happens when we do not understand the customer requirements clearly. That's when this over processing happens. Well, practically when like and moreover, when it may be over processing may be done by the means of the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, the way we have designed a process, that may be resulting in over processing. And I can tell you one thing for sure. There's one over processing which happens a lot, which I like too many approval stages. Well, there's one invoice which needs to be processed, and there are 5 or 6 people involved in approval of invoice. So again, that's over processing. You involved multiple stages, so multiple stage approvals, and that's been over processed. It will create a waiting waste, plus it will be over processed. That is again over processing. When delivering more than required is again that's over processing. Over process, the same thing, same report is getting prepared by different people. Well, let's work on making report. We'll compile and we'll see which one who has prepared a better one, and then we'll pick that one. Well, why can't you all sit together and just get it done? Why did everyone has to sit together and like kind of make one separate report, and then you'll compare, but practically wasting time, over processing. Defects and rework. Well, defects and reworks are self-explanatory, because when you have defect, you have to provide a new item against that. If it's partially damaged, then you will rework on it, repair it, and again give it. You will be working twice without getting paid. Your process will wait. You will consume resources twice, but will be paid once. Bottom line, if you have to rework and redo things, you're going to get paid only once for the good output, but you are working twice. If you don't create a defect, you don't rework, then practically that time can be used for creating new like revenue out of it. You will be able to make something new out of it. Bottom line, defects and reworks will make your process wait, and it will delay the improvement in the process. Your customer has to wait more because you had created a defect. You have to rework, fix it, repair it, and then deliver the customer. Customer is going to be dissatisfied. Plus, you are also kind of if your process defects are high, then practically it's self-explanatory that your process has to wait to complete the entire cycle. This one, when we talk about unutilized talent and unutilized skills, is technically when I talk about micromanagement, very, very common, very, very like it's one simple example I can talk about, which is very, very commonly seen in corporates. You might be present. I'm sure a lot of us can vouch for it. We are sitting in a meeting room and we don't know what we are there for. We have just been pulled up by my boss. My boss feels comfortable when I'm sitting next to him. I might be having a lot of work to be done. I'm already running out of time, but my boss wants me to be present in a meeting room while he is probably on a client call. He's trying to go, well, he can't do it on his own, but he wants me to be present there. But I don't know what I have to do. But that's where you're not utilizing my talent. My time has been wasted here. It's unutilized talent. But practically, for example, I needed an extra, like a resource for my Six Sigma project. I had great expectations. So I wanted somebody with a Six Sigma Black Belt certification. I wanted the person should have a knowledge of Agile. Should be great if this person knows PMP has PMP also. And probably it would be great if the person has ISO standards. Well, I had every possible requirement in the world. I fortunately got one brilliant resource. Now, when I've hired this person, I tell this person what to do. Well, if you really needed a clerk, you should have hired a clerk. You're wasting that talent. And unfortunately, that happens a lot. People do not give enough chances to their team members. And unfortunately, that's wastage of talent and resource, which happens a lot. So it's very important to make sure that it's more about self-realization. When you have your team, at least you got to take care of it. Well, you cannot probably go and counter question somebody, because this is more about somebody who has potential or authority should be able to create a culture. If you are in a decision-making role, you are leading a project, that's where you should get started from. Well, probably you may not be dealt the same way, but you got to deal with the people in the same way. So at least you do not micromanage your subordinates, your team. You got to give the free hand. You got to give the talent. It's okay to manage, but over managing would suffocate people. And that's what's bad. You lose the trust of the people when you do not give enough chances to your people to do well. Practically, people will not trust you. They would not be able to develop that confidence. Such people will always be struggling in the real world, because your team is never with you, because you did not trusted them in the first place. You don't trust them, they don't reciprocate. Simple as that. It's always a give and take. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not realize this. And that's where there'll always be a troubleshooting kind of thing, because people will never be responding to them. So these are 8 different ways that we have to find in the system. When we talk about these 8 ways, every process step you have to go and find out that, am I creating these waste? And that's when we identify. It's a never-ending approach where you always have to continue to find out these wastes in the system and eliminate them one by one. Well, you don't go full throttle every time. You always go in a small baby steps. But yes, it's a never-ending desire to get better, and you continue to remove waste in the process as you go along. But you have to know the waste before you can eliminate it. So you might find out lots of waste. Can you remove all of it at one go? No. You might move in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and that's how it's supposed to happen. Lean is never ending. So technically, you go to your process, you see it yourself, and then pretty much you understand where is the waste happening in the process. And that's how you go about eliminating it step by step. And that's how it happens. So again, about the recording certification, everything will be answered. So you'll get, like Michelle will step in. So she will be able to kind of give all the clarity. So about the notes and everything, I guess that will all be taken care of. So coming back to lean part, is it okay and clear? So we're sort of done with a basic description of lean. Is it fine and okay with everyone, the lean part? before we switch into Six Sigma, because that's going to be a different ball game altogether. I won't say the same thing about Six Sigma. As I said, we all have been practicing. No, I won't say that, but Six Sigma is a different ball game. All right. Okay with everyone? Shall we proceed?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so let's move on with Six Sigma. Now, Six Sigma, anyone would like to share what is your understanding and definition of Six Sigma as per you? Like pretty much. We don't need to be 100% correct. It's absolutely fine. What is Six Sigma as per you? Thank you, Marvin. You've kind of nailed it in the first go. Variation reduction. Yes, absolutely. Until unless your definition doesn't have this word, your answer is always incomplete in Six Sigma. It's 100% incomplete if you do not have this word variation in your answer. Six Sigma boils down to variation. Like you talk about waste reduction in lean, Six Sigma is all about variation. And yes, quality improvement, definitely yes. So I'm going to put down all these things in the same context. So it's a statistical approach to reduce variation. And I say variation, I'll write down defect to improve effectiveness of the process. That's what. Now, let's break down the sentence again to understand. First of all, this fancy term, improve effectiveness. What do you mean by effectiveness? As I said, fancy term, yes, quality. That's what you're talking about. Effectiveness is your quality. How good is your process? How effective is your process? That is what is the quality of your process. Technically, so if I go back and again look at this definition, to improve the quality, what do? Reduce the defect. Variation is the defect. We'll come back to variation part. But simply, if you reduce the defects, definitely quality improves. Common sense. There's nothing so scientific about it. You reduce your defect, and when your defect goes down, your quality improves. That's all. We will come back to variation part. But before we look into it, how do you reduce the defect? That's the important part. Statistical approach. That's what is the new slogan. Data is the new oil. You install one application in your mobile phone. This application wants to know the contacts, the messages, and everything. Why? Everybody wants to capture data. Organizations, corporates, which will have control over data, who understand data better, will rule the world. That's how it is. It's with shaping. Everything is going the same direction. Data, understand. Data has its own language. And if you can understand and speak the same language, there's no one which can stop you. It is absolutely phenomenal. As you get further, we'll understand the Six Sigma journey. It is immense. It gives you immense control on what, like you're planning for marketing strategy, improving your process. You can do much, much more with that. What beyond our imagination? It has great deal of information that you can get. You can predict, you can do a lot of things if you have understanding of data. But practically, let's go back to reduce variation. Let's take a simple example. My client, one of my client gave me an order to manufacture, say, a whiteboard marker. Keeping it very simple, whiteboard marker, and the length of a marker has to be 5.5 inches. That's the target given to me, that the manufacturing of each marker, the length has to be 5.5 inches. Now, I am a smart manager, so I start manufacturing. I gave clear instructions to my team that I need 5.5 inches long marker, and this is what they end up producing. Say these are some set of markers. I've picked up some samples, and this is what my sample looks like. And let's kind of keep more of, say, some about this. This is fine. Well, let's talk about this one. Is this 5.5? No, that's variation from 5.5. That's more than 5.5. That will be treated as a defect. Well, is this 5.5? No, this is less than 5.5. That's again a variation, and this is again a defect. Is this 5.5? No, that's again a variation from 5.5. That's more than 5.5. That's a defect. Again, that's more than 5.5 variation. This is less than 5.5, less than 5.5, more than 5.5, less than 5.5, less than 5.5. Whether you are more than 5.5 or less than 5.5, that's a variation. And that will be treated as a defect in the eyes of customer. Customer wanted 5.5, you must serve 5.5. Simple as that. Till the time you're able to serve 5.5, you are good. Anything plus or minus is going to be treated as variation, and that variation is a defect. Customer will treat that as defect. But what do you fix with Six Sigma? Technically, that we have to understand. We said that what you see is what you fix with lean. what you can see with your naked eyes. You go to your process, you look at your process. I use your lean knowledge and find out, is this activity right or wrong? That's what you do with lean. Simple, common sense. Six Sigma, what do you fix? What you can't see, what you can't describe, what you feel is what you solve with Six Sigma. When you have tried, tested, and failed, you are facing a problem, but you don't know why. I have tried in everything. There are a lot of experts, in process experts, subject matter experts. They have tried every possible thing they knew. They have used their knowledge, their experience, their education. Well, they are able to solve a problem, but the problem reoccurs again. After 2-3 months, will they again solve the problem? The problem resurfaces again. You again solve the problem resurfaces again. That's a chronic problem. I don't know what needs to be done. I have tried everything, but the problem doesn't go away. When probably it's the end of lean for you. Where the journey of lean ends, the Six Sigma journey starts there. When you tried, tested, and failed, you've reached a like a roadblock. There's nothing more beyond that. Well, you can't explain. You are facing a problem, but you don't know what to do because I've tried everything. Well, that's probably what we need to understand at that point. There's something which we are not able to see. It's something beyond our vision, something which we can't see. We do experience a pain, we do experience a problem, but I'm not able to find out why. Well, what would you solve then? Well, what medicine would you have when you don't know the disease? For you to treat a problem, for you to treat a disease, you need to know the problem. Six Sigma, where do you implement? It's in simple term. If I go to a doctor and this doctor I have a fever, and this doctor gives me 10 medicines, hoping one will work, because the medicine could be because of bacterial fever, viral fever, protozoal, fungal, and there will be many reasons why I might have a fever. The 10 different medicines, I'm sure one will work. Probably it's a bacterial fever, probably it's a viral fever. One of those medicines will work. What would other medicines do? Practically, I would not have an idea and they will hurt me. Six Sigma is more of that qualified doctor who will get the blood test done, understand what type of infection is it. When you know exact medicine, when disease, you give that only medicine that you know, well, what will solve your problem. Six Sigma is exactly like that. If you have tried, tested, and failed, well, we would like to do the investigation. We'd like to perform statistical tests and understand what is causing the problem, what you're not able to see. And that's why you're not able to have a solution, because you don't know actually what is the root cause. When you don't know what is the root cause, because it's beyond your vision, you're not able to figure out, hence you don't have a solution. I will help you find out what is causing the problem. When I give you the problem, every industry has experts. If I tell you the problem, you'll always have a solution. Six Sigma will help me get those minute level macroscopic details, where and how this problem occurs, what is actually the root cause. And that's what it gives you immense power to solve those problems where lean struggles. What you see is what you fix. But when you get to a point where you can't improve anything, that's when Six Sigma journey will start from there. And that's when it takes you to a radical improvement in your process improvement. When you want to be a market leader, that's where it will take you to that journey, a market leader, but you can achieve a phenomenal result. We'll just want to understand from, if in case somebody of us know, if I say my process is working at Six Sigma level, what is the performance level we're talking about in terms of quality percentage? Anyone knows quality percentage? If a process is working at Six Sigma level, what is the quality percentage at Six Sigma level? If I say a process is working at Six Sigma, in case we are aware of it, 97, 99.99, 97.7, no. Okay, let's then go ahead and get this documented. 99.99966%. That's exact. That's your quality percentage at Six Sigma level. If your process is working at Six Sigma level, that's the quality percentage you're talking about. Well, and the same thing is, you've got to keep in mind, it's also mentioned in terms of if your process has this level of quality, what's your defect rate? In Six Sigma is measured in defect rate as well. So that's called, generally people call it 3.4 DPMO. Let's understand 3.4 DPMO and 3.4 PPM. Let's understand what's that. 3.4, oops, my bad, sorry about that. 3.4 defects per million opportunity. And this is 3.4 parts per million. Meaning is the same technically. Let's understand what does it mean. If your process is working at 6 sigma level, if you have to quantify the quality percentage, you will say your process quality is so and so. If you have to quantify what will be the defect rate in my
Eh,
process,
wala masama, pero sa pangangailangan namin, masama
yes,
yun.
somebody's mic is on. Nice. Okay. All right. So if my process defect rate has to be calculated at 6 sigma level, your process is the maximum defect your process would create is about 3.4 defects in 1 million opportunity. That's phenomenal, almost like a zero defect. That means if I was manufacturing 1 million markers, the maximum probability of having a defective marker is just 3.4. That's unbelievable. That's like a zero defect. So you call it as 3.4 DPMO or 3.4 ppm. Bottom line says the maximum probability of having a defect is just 3.4 in 1 million. That's phenomenal output. Well, if you let's try to understand, is 99% quality a good quality? If I say quality of 99%, is it a good quality percentage generally? If I talk in general terms, is it 99 treated as a great quality, good quality? If I say my process is working at 99% in general. Once upon a time, yes, it was a great quality once upon a time. But that's again once upon a time. Yes, it's in general. If my process is working at 99% quality, let's understand what does it mean. My pass percentage and my fail percentage at 99%. What is pass percentage? 99 out of 100. That means if I get 100 transactions, 100 parts, I will make 99 good and 1 will be wrong. That's 1% is my error rate. That's what it means. My quality is 99%. If I make 1 error out of 100, then how many errors will I make in 1 million? 6 zeros. At 99% quality, if I make 1 error in 100, then at 99% quality. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I'll make about 10,000 errors. But basic the same maths, 1 out of 100, then 10,000. You cancel the zeros, you get 1 out of 100. So if I have the same rate, if I have 99% quality, then I'll end up making 10,000 errors out of 1 million. We'll come back to that. This is going ahead with that. So this is the error rate in the process. If my process is working at 99%. How about 6 sigma? We're saying 6 sigma process has just 3.4 in 1 million. We're talking about 2 worlds apart. There's no comparison between 6 sigma and 99%. Well, gone are those days when people used to be market leader at 99%. If we are working at 99% today in current scenario, we will be history. Well, there's a cutthroat competition going on. The customer has become so intolerant, you make 1 error and you'll be forgotten. You'll be history. This, at least people have no patience. People will not give you a second chance. We all are just an option, either manufacturer or service provider. Customer has so many choices. So it's just that customer has become intolerant. And that's why globally, every corporate is switching towards concept of zero defect. And that's where it takes you almost to a zero defect. This is almost like zero defect, 3.4 in 1 million. And that's what is the need of that. But before we move ahead, let's go and talk about what is this sigma level. Then we generally see a sigma level. What is this sigma level? When we say 6 sigma, what is this? What does it mean, a sigma level? Well, it's a weird definition, by the way. It's a defect measuring scale. That's what is a sigma level. It is weird because it doesn't measure you how good you're doing. It measures how bad you're doing, like this 3.4 defects in 1 million. That's the actual definition of 6 sigma. If your process is working at 6 sigma level, that's the number of defects would your process make. In 1 million, just about 3.4. It's a defect measuring scale. It measures how bad your process is doing. Let's say, what is the scale here? Like a normal scale, 1, 0, 1, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, 4 sigma, 5 sigma, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just a scale. It's just a scale. Every number on this scale represents that certain number of defects. At certain number of defects, this will be your sigma level. At certain number, it's a scale. That's it. -1 sigma, -2 sigma. Does it go in negative? Yes, we have negative sigmas also. So no surprises, your sigma level is negative. Absolutely, it can be negative also. Your process can swing. It's a scale, measurement scale of defect. So if your defects are high, pretty much your sigma level will go down. Let's understand this part because it's important. When we say my process is making 3.4 defects in 1 million, that means I say my process is working at 6 sigma level. Understood? That's fair. So your process works at 6 sigma level at this level. Great job. Now, how about, is there any industry working better than 6 sigma level? Have you heard about anything better than 6 sigma, or is it the best we can get? Can we get better? Aerospace, yes, you're right about that. Aerospace is definitely better. Okay. Medicine, pharmaceutical, you're right about that. Absolutely. When we talk about aviation industry, that's what we are talking about. Aviation industry is about 12 sigma. Well, would you be happy taking a flight? Would you be happy boarding a flight when you know that out of 1 million flights that will take off, 3.4 might crash? No, it's a bad signal level for them. One crash is so many people can die. That's a big loss. One error is a big error. You cannot afford it. These industries cannot afford 6 sigma. 6 sigma is a horrible, bad sigma. Nuclear reactors, thank you, sir. Nuclear reactors around 12 sigma, 11 and 12 sigma, and in between that. Your space programs is around the same 12 sigma, what has been recorded. Your pharmaceutical industry is about 11 sigma. Well, why do we have so much a problem of vaccines? Why can't we make vaccine and give it to everyone? No, one wrong vaccine, so many people can die, and that will be irreparable damage. So these are very, very rare industries where every single defect is a big crime. You cannot afford a mistake in these industries. They are very limited, but very, very rare industries, but very critical ones. Well, bottom line, what it means that if your defects reduces, sigma level increases. It's inversely proportional. So if at a higher sigma level, the defects are low. So as your defects increases, sigma level drops. So basically, if defects reduces, sigma level increases. That we got to keep in mind. That means higher sigma level is good for the process. That means you're doing a great job. Higher sigma is great job. The question is, when they're already 11 sigma, 12 sigma, then why do we study 6 sigma process? Well, it's just that that's the standard. Why this is standard? But every other industry, keeping these rare industries aside, but every other industry, this is the phenomena for everyone. That is the best you could get. With project management tools, quality management tools, you can implement statistics and get your process up to 6 sigma, and you will be a market leader. Well, beyond 6 sigma level, you generally need automation. Well, not every one company wants to get into automation because automation means huge investment. Well, do you think this manufacturing of marker, if this company gets a 6 sigma level, would this company invest millions of dollars to save cost of 3.4 markers? No. What's the cost of 3.4 markers? Nothing. But the cost of automation will be huge. So not every company wants to go beyond 6 sigma unless you are into a critical industry. They have no choice. They have to go for automation. But barring that, getting up to a level of 6 sigma will be a phenomenal thing. Just a quick one. So if sigma level, if defects in the process increases, sigma level drops. So at higher defect rate, sigma level is low. So if the process sigma level, basically if defect rate is more than 50%, sigma level will be negative. And you don't have to memorize this. I'll give you a quick formula. You'll understand how to do it. It's simple. When your process has 50% defect rate, you are at 0 sigma level. This is what we will understand. There's 2 types of sigma. We'll just discuss in a moment. But that's when 50% defect rate will give you a 0 sigma. So the moment your defect rate is more than 50%, you will get into negative sigma. It's possible to have negative sigmas also. So the big question, how do you calculate sigma level? And there are tons of methods actually to calculate sigma level. Given that we have a short webinar and that to yellow belt, we can't get into more complex situation, but still we can find, at least we'll have that understanding how to calculate sigma level. You will be fine. You will be able to calculate sigma level for anything that comes to your mind. That I can guarantee. Let's go and check this out. These formulas are inbuilt in everyone's Excel, and that's why I use Excel for my writing these notes. Let's see. If you have defects, somebody gives you a defect rate and wants to find out sigma level at so and so defect, what will be my sigma level? Well, that's what we're going to do it right now. I'm going to do it. I'll share the formulas, how we work on this. Pretty much how do you, and there are a lot of methods. We can just discuss one, given there is a lot of information we have to know for other methods. And we do calculate sigma level on minute. There are different ways, multiple ways. We can cover one right now, which is easy for us right now. One sigma level that we call as long term, Z for sigma and LT for long term. We call as long term sigma. We can't get into that clarification what is long term sigma, but there is one type of sigma which is long term. And there's another type of sigma which is called short term sigma, Z for sigma, ST for short term, or we call it as current sigma level. Alex, we can't get into the definition part here, but we have to bear with that because that needs a lot of discussion about it. How do you calculate this long term? This is technically the actual sigma level, or you can say calculated sigma level. This one is the real one technically. You'll understand what is that, but for now, this is actually calculated, this one. And this is what we calculate with this formula. Norm sin V, 1 minus defects divided by total. I'll be using this formula right away. We'll be seeing that. And short term sigma, this is used for reporting and communication. So whenever people talk about any sigma level, they always talk in the language of current sigma level. So there's any communication, when we say Six Sigma, we always talk about this one. Any communication, any report, any discussion will be done on current sigma level. How do you get that? The long-term sigma plus 1.5 fixed value. This 1.5 is a fixed value. Why? That will be out of scope as of now, because that itself needs about half an hour long discussion. That's fixed value. Remember, that's standard. So 1.5, whatever you calculate here, plus 1.5 give you sigma. So the final sigma. We will be using this for communication and reports. Let's find out Six Sigma first. 3.4 defects in 1 million opportunities. That's what we said. Well, let's validate Six Sigma first. So if that's my defect rate, what's my sigma level? Norm sin V, 1 minus bracket 3.4 defects in 10 to the power 6, which or I could have added 6 zeros. So I'm closing the bracket. Plus this is the long term. I will add 1.5 to this, and that will become current sigma level for communication. That's what we said. 3.4 defects in 1 million opportunities is Six Sigma process. That's what we get. We always talk in this language. Let's take some random examples, random numbers, just to get comfortable with this topic. I'm doing some audits, and during my audit, I found 117 defects out of some random number. These many parts audited. I audited these many parts. What is the sigma level for the process? Okay, let's say norm sin V. It doesn't matter. 1 minus, what is the number of defects? 117 out of 65523. Okay, job done. Sigma level plus 1.5 will give me, I'll say when I did this audit, my sigma level was 4.41. Okay, let's say I'm looking at office reporting time. I'm being late. So I've been tracking my office reporting time. Out of 30 days, I was late on, say, 4 days out of 30 days. So 4 days I was late out of 30 days. My office reporting time sigma level. Can I find it? Absolutely, yes. Same process, norm sin V, 1 minus 4 divided by 30, the defect rate. For office reporting timing, my sigma level is this. Simple. It's easy. Just go and go. But let's try to find out zero sigma. But how do you get it? So if I have 50% defect rate, let's find it out directly. What is my sigma level? Norm sin V 1 minus 50 by 100, 50%. That's zero sigma, but will be reported as 1.5 sigma. So when my process is 50% defect rate, I'll say my current sigma level is 1.5. What if I had more defect rate, like 75% defect rate? Let's see a negative sigma also. Norm sin V 1 minus 75 out of 100. Or you could do anything. By now, I hope we understand that's a negative sigma. And plus 1.5 will end up reporting the current sigma level of the process is 0.83. This is what it'll be used for communication purposes. This is what will be used for any communication. We only talk in the language of current, but actually what is the real one? Well, that's when you get into details, that needs a lot of clarification, details, why we don't use this, why we use this, what 1.5, what's the difference? That needs a little bit of more discussion and debate. And that's going to be, and even before that, we have to understand some bit of statistical stuff, but pretty much the answer is this. The explanation is which needs clarification. The answer is going to be always this. So whenever you try to calculate sigma level, it's the simplest way. It's no plugin. You have all these formulas in your Excel. So that's how you find out sigma level. Is it okay and clear with everyone?
Copy.
Oh, okay. How about others? Is it okay, everyone? Just quickly give me a confirmation if in case it's okay.
Nani ako wapi?
All right, perfect. Let's go and move ahead then. Well, how do you implement a Six Sigma process, which is what we want to talk about now. Basically, when you implement Six Sigma, there's a framework we call as DMAIC. So Six Sigma framework is what we're talking about. Six Sigma framework. It's a project. We will do a Six Sigma project. It goes into different stages. So stages of Six Sigma, you can say, or phases of Six Sigma, D, M, A, I, and C. D stands for define, measure, oops, my bad, measure, analyze, improve, and control. What do you do in define phase? Well, define phase is all about selecting the right project. Well, as an organization, you might be dealing with hundreds of problems. Well, you cannot solve world's hunger in one day. So you cannot solve every problem with one single project. You have to select the right project. You have limited resources, limited budget, limited time. You have to select the most important one. So here you end up learning project management skills. So if you have PMP certification, then you exactly know what we're talking about. All the tools and techniques that you use in PMP training will be applied here. So people who are Six Sigma professionals, they end up doing a PMP. They find it very easy to crack a PMP certification. And people who have understanding of project management, they find it very easy to understand the define phase, not the other phase, because that's where you have only project management part. So you learn about a lot of tools in the define phase. Selection of right project. This is where you collect reliable data for analysis. So you baseline your process, you understand how bad is the situation. Measurement is the first stage to improve your process. You selected the problem. Yes, your project has been selected. You understand what problem I will solve. Is it cost reduction project? Is it about average handling time? Is it about quality improvement? What is your project? We've decided it. You got to collect data, a reliable data, because your data is wrong, your project will be going in the wrong direction. That's where you talk about quality management and management plus statistics is going to be applied. So data analysis is what we end up learning. Analyze phase is about using statistical tools and techniques to find the root cause. Why we did the project? Because we don't know what is causing the problem, what's bothering us. Well, we might have a lot of things to talk about, but I don't know which one. So statistical tools and techniques will solve the problem exactly, will let you know what is actually causing the problem. When you know it, you achieve the target. Obviously, a project would have been given by the management to solve a business problem. So that problem will be achieved. Your target will be kind of sorted out. You gain use quality management statistics. Control phase is when you sustain the improvement. The beauty about Lean Six Sigma project is that you never lose what you gain. You improve, it will always be sustained. And thanks to the last phase, which is control phase. How it works generally, a traditional project would work improvement like this. Goes high, but slowly, steadily, you will see the problem resurfacing again, goes down. Six Sigma project doesn't work this way. You improve and you control and sustain this level. Statistically, process going into extreme statistical control, this level is sustained. When you have sustained this level, the DNA of the process has changed. You again improve, pick up a new project, and again sustain the level. Control phase will sustain this process level under extreme statistical control. Process would have changed its characteristics, behavior completely. Again, pick up a new project, again sustain. Sustenance is always important. You don't want to go high and then drop. No. So you improve, achieve that level, again sustain, improve. So a sequence of projects will go on and on and on. And that's how your project, but this level is never lost. When you improve something, it stays improved. Due to the last phase, what we have is control phase. You always sustain, you never lose what you gain. There's no point in doing a project in that case if you have to always keep working again and again. Well, you improve something, it must stay improved. Well, while we do this implementation, there's something what we generally refer as 7 quality control tools. 7 QC tools is what we generally end up using, other than the hardcore statistical tools which we end up using in real world scenario. The 7 quality control tools is what we end up using in journal. Getting into statistical tools will be lots of statistical tools which will be used where you perform data analysis, but these are very commonly used ones which we talk about. Let's go ahead. Histogram, check sheet, flow chart, Pareto chart, which is also known as 80-20 rule. And then we have fishbone diagram. Then we have scatter plot. Then we have control charts. So these are 7 quality control tools used globally by almost every other industry. Now these tools will help you understand the process behavior, and that helps a lot to control the process. So other than the statistical tools that you use, the quality management tools that we're talking about will come from here. So quality control tools, 7 quality control tools are applied plus statistics. Statistics, data analysis will always be there. So we talk about histogram. Well, histogram is simply analyzing your process data. So you have your, let me just pick up one. Let's quickly run through this one. At least we'll have a fair bit of idea how it works out in real projects. We work on how we go about analyzing this data. Let's say pick up this data set. I'm trying to go and create a histogram. I'll be looking at a lot of other analysis also. So I go ahead and perform some analysis. I'll get the histogram as well. We'll have a histogram. We'll look at the histogram, but much more details than that. So that's what when you plot this data, that's when I say, this is my histogram of the process. Histogram helps me, where's the center of the process, how much of fluctuation is possible in the process. It gives me a lot of information and lots of additional statistical tests. So lot of statistics involved with this data, how this data needs to be understood, the predicted future part. Yes, that's everything is covered here. It gives me complete understanding how my process is likely to behave in real world scenario. So it gives me the first stepping stone towards analysis to look at your histogram, understand how bad is the situation. That's what it helps you to understand. Baseline your process. Where do you stand right now? How much of fluctuation is possible? So you always look at histogram of the process. If you just need a histogram, well, we have options to just look at histogram without any data, like anything analysis. I can simply plot a histogram without this entire, but we always prefer doing this because you get every possible thing done within one click. I just don't, if you just want image, that's what you have. That's again the same histogram you're looking at. Analyzing where's the center average of the data, how much of variation is in the data. That's what it's all about. Histogram. Histogram is to understand the centering and the variation. And basically, you want to understand how your current process looks like. Check sheets, we all use check sheets in some shape or form. These are the data tracking mechanisms. So you collect data in different formats. So technically it's the format in which you collect data. This could be your audit sheets. That's a check sheet. So audit sheet, attendance sheet. We all have used different check sheets. It could be any data collection sheet, any data collection sheet. For that matter, your to-do list, that's it. That's also a check sheet. Bottom line helps you to understand how you have been doing. If to analyze data, you have to collect data somewhere. That's your check sheet. So practically, you go and Google up for check sheet, you get tons of example of check sheets. It's simple. We all have worked on check sheets. So check sheets, have a look at it. It's nothing new. You all have it, and it's a different types of check sheets. You can maintain data like this. You can maintain data in terms of numbers, text, dashes, whatever. They have been using more of this, but you can customize your own check sheet in terms of process. You do whatever you want. Your data, you know how to deal with it, how you want to maintain it. They have people have done it in different ways. You can customize your own check sheet. You can have numbers. That's also check sheets. You create your own template, how you want to collect the data. When we talk about flowcharts, technically flowcharts are imperative for lean. So for implementation of lean, you must have flowcharts because you have to map the process, find the waste, and identify the waste in the process. That's what is required. So when you make a process map, you look into it, and then you find out the waste in the system. Where is the waste in the system? And that's what you got to do, identify the waste. That's how you end up making the value stream maps in the process. You identify the waste in the process, you figure out where is the waste. And that's when you go about eliminating the waste by implementing lean. Too much of inventory, too much of variation, you cut down the waste in the system. That's more about how process maps would be worked out. Pareto chart, well, it's one of the widely used methods and tools to identify what is the most frequent problem. So to identify the most frequent problem, we use Pareto chart. It's more about prioritization. It's a tool to prioritize. We use Pareto chart, tool to prioritize, but by count. By count is very important. It does work by count only. So let's have a quick look at by count version. Let's pick up one, understand this Pareto chart. Got some data, customer complaints have collected over a period of time. Different types of customers have complained differently. And this is the types of complaint I've received and how many times that type of complaint was received. So we had like 274 complaints of missing screws, 59 complaints of missing clips, and so on and so forth. All I need to do is prioritize and understand where are my majority of complaints coming from. So I will use a Pareto chart. Obviously, we can do it in Excel as well. We can try this on Excel also. Let me quickly try this out on Minitab. Because primarily, you're supposed to know how to do it on Minitab. You have your defects, you have your counts. Don't want to combine, and that's what it looks like. Pareto chart. That's how your Pareto chart looks like. It reflects that this alone is contributing about 64.8% complaint, the missing screws. Missing clips, it is about 13.9%. So if you 64.8 plus 13.9 is 78.7. This is third one is contributing 10.2% of the complaint, which if I add to 78.7, will be 88.9, and so on and so forth. But Pareto chart talks about like trying to focus on the major areas, which are major contributors of the problem. This is what it's more about. It's like generally referred as 80-20 principle, which says 80% of the problem will come because of 20% reason. So don't try to run after everything. Try to focus on the more critical ones. So you just try and figure out, well, that's my topmost. If I solve these two, pretty much I'm done with 78.7% complaint. You don't have to run after everything because you try to solve this or you try to solve this. Effort will be more or like same, but the gain would be way, way too different. So it's more about understanding before you act. You got to measure, you got to analyze, and then before you start acting on it. So just being more prioritized, more focused in what you do. So it's when you do a Pareto chart analysis. So that's on the Pareto chart. Let me sort of minimize the size here. Pretty much that's sort of go back to the regular size. All right, so that's what you do in Pareto chart. Let's go ahead and quickly have a look at the other ones we have here. Fishbone diagram. Now, fishbone diagram is generally referred as Ishikawa diagram. The gentleman actually who introduced the 7 quality control tools. His name was Ishikawa, who introduced, who compiled, not created everything. So out of this 7, he only created one. Ishikawa, uh, Ishikawa, he compiled this list of 7 tools. His own creation was this. This is also called as Ishikawa diagram, or also called as cause and effect. Right. That somewhat looks like this. So we go ahead and have a look at what Ishikawa or cause and effect diagram looks like, to brainstorm and find out the potential causes which may be possibly causing the problem in the system. So you have something like this as a fish. This is a fishbone diagram. You have a head of the fish. That's what they call fishbone diagram. That's the problem that we're dealing with. We try to figure out what can be potential reasons. Could be man-related problems, machine-related, method-related. There are 6 different M's that it works with. So you've got to find out where is the problem coming from. So brainstorming session will be required, and we prepare the fishbone diagram to understand the list of potential causes. So while doing a fishbone diagram, you prepare list of potential problems. That's what you do. And that will help you to do your statistical testing and analysis going forward. Scatter plot is used for finding out statistical relation between 2 numerical variables. Like, for example, what kind of comparison we're trying to draw here? Like, we might want to find out, is there a relationship between temperature versus sales of ice cream? Probably I want to find it out. Is there a relationship between hours of study versus exam scores? I might want to find out whether the speed of the car has any relation with number of accidents. Well, one variable I want to find, this is what we say, this is called predictor variable, which is we say as X. We say, is this impacting the dependent variable, which is what we call as Y, the business problem. So we're trying to find out the X, does it impact the Y? This is the potential cause. Does it impact the outcome of the business? We use the scatter plot, and that's generally when you do a scatter plot. Let's see, we have hypothesis test. We should have something to look at here as well. Well, I would like to find out the relationship between temperature and sales. So I can do a scatter plot, and that's pretty easy to relate with. Scatter plot, I would use a regression line. And that regression is a separate test. But I would like to understand the impact on sales because of temperature. That will create this scatter plot diagram. It helps me to understand the nature of relationship. When the temperature was less, my sales was less. As the temperature increased, my sales increased. At a higher value of temperature, I have higher value of sales. If I see as my temperature increases, my sales increases. And pretty much that tells me the direction of dot. It also tells you the direction of dot also helps me understand that if X increases, if this value X is increasing, so does my Y also increases. There's a positive relationship, the direction, the line also tells you there is a positive relationship between them. If X increases, Y also increases correspondingly. And there's much more to talk about. If I take my cursor here on this line, it tells me I can predict my sales at a given temperature. I have that equation ready. So it says sales is equal to minus something, some value plus 161.8 temperature. I can predict my sales if I know what's my temperature. That's pretty good mathematical modeling, which we end up creating with the help of scatter plots. It's very widely used tool in real world scenario, highly used technically. Finally, we have the control charts. Now, control charts, as I said, that's the control phase to sustain the improvement. That's the foundation of your control phase. So you have lots of control chart, different, because based on data, you have different types of control charts you work upon, and you end up making different types of control charts out of it, depending on what kind of data you're trying to work on, how many samples you're picking up. There are different charts, the rules for charts. So it will help you process to remain in statistical control. And how does control chart journey look like? Let's quickly have a look at small, simple one. We can't get into the explanation because that needs a lot of prior background understanding. of control charts. So we have to kind of get into, we can quickly have a look at one simple control chart and we can talk about that later. Let's see. Make a control chart out of it. So if I'm looking at control chart, I will never ever get surprises about my process, whether process is getting better, process is getting worse. I will always know it before the process has made a change in the end. So it's always wise to use a control chart because you'll always know what's happening in the process. Is it getting out of control? Is it in control? That's how my process control chart looks like. It helps me, there's not many things to interpret, but why we need a control chart? Let's have a quick look at it. Let me just make my value change and let's see. It will start acting the moment you have some process issues. Well, you may forget it. Control charts will not. This has gone out of control, but see, there are more red dots in between. So what is out of control is visible. What is visible, this is out of control. I understand that. But what is not visible, this is, see, if you can try and even if you look at lines, that's some sort of center line here. That these are two lines. It says upper control limit, this says lower control limit. This dot has crossed the upper control limit. I understand that should be a defect. It looks like a defect. It's a red dot, understood. Why is that a defect? Like sort of a red dot. It's well within the line. That's why you need a control chart for. What is visible, anyone can figure it out. What is not visible is what is the beginning of a problem. So before a problem becomes a problem, you'll always know it. Nothing will come as surprise. Neither process will become good or bad overnight. If a process has to become good, it's always gradual steps. You'll know the process is changing towards good. You will promote the change. If the process is becoming bad, it's always the early stage. You will fix the problem before it becomes a problem because you get to know what's going in your process. So practically, it gives immense control in sustaining the process. You'll always know before something has happened in the process. So at least when you're looking at control charts, you never get surprises as to, well, sorry, I was not aware. No, you always aware whether process is becoming good or process is becoming bad. You always know that. That's what so we, other than these basic graphical analysis tools, we do a lot of statistical testing. That's more from a statistics standpoint, but for that, there's a lot of background we have to kind of get into. But yes, that's more from a green belt and black belt perspective, and you get into that. That's on the 7 quality control tools. Is it okay and clear with everyone? Is it fine?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, then let's have a quick look at, we don't need to know too much in terms of project kind of scenario, but history, but very, very brief history is required from examination standpoint. Whenever we appear for any kind of assessment on Six Sigma, some bit of history is required, and during job interview, definitely yes. People ask certain questions. So we will not do a deep dive, but what is needed and what is required briefly, we should be able to kind of get away with it. Let's talk about a couple of topics which are left over. One is, first of all, history of lean. How did it start? Let's quickly talk about it. And because this is linked with history of Six Sigma. So first evidence of lean getting implemented was with Ford Motors. Ford Motors were the ones who have this evidence that where, yes, they implemented something which can be termed as lean, but technically they never gave word. Lean did not come from Ford. So the owner or the CEO of Ford was Henry Ford. So before this, like the entire automobile industry globally used to work with something what we call as craft manufacturing. And what's craft manufacturing? Let me just explain before I write it down so we understand what was the pain, what is the problem. In craft manufacturing, see, this is one car which is built at one. This car was locked at a place, stationary, fixed. Another car which is built here is again locked at this place and fixed. Another car which is built here is locked at this place and fixed. So these cars were immovable. They're built at one place. If I'm fitting in a bulb in a car, I'll come to this car, fit in the bulb, then drag the remaining bulbs to the next car, fit in the bulbs, then drag the remaining bulbs to the next car, fit in the bulb. Somebody who's fitting in tire will move from one car with all the tires, fit in the tires, go and drag remaining tires, drag remaining tires, it was a slow process. And because of dragging, it used to cause a lot of damage. So in case of craft manufacturing, cars were stationary. Globally, that's how cars were made. And other industries also used to work with same method. Cars were stationary. And people used to move from one car to another. That they used to drag the material. This was a slow process. Reported number said that 32 to 35 cars was the production capacity per month. And there was lots of damage done to the spare parts. Well, in 1908, these guys revolutionized and brought something what we today, even till date, we use assembly line, which we also refer as conveyor belt concept. Well, these guys changed the definition of manufacturing for everyone. Here, parts started moving on a belt and people became stationary. It speeded up. So the production capacity increased 3 to 4 times increase in production capacity. That's what led to mass production. No damage to the part because people were sitting with the parts, what they had to fit in. So this is person number 1, fitting bulb, all the bulbs right here. Person number 2, fitting in say tires, it's all the tires here. Person number 3 has the seats or whatever is fitting in. And that's the car is moving on a belt. So car comes in front of him, he fits in the bulb, moves to the next guy, fit in the tire. No more dragging, they simply have to plug in the valve stuff. That speeded up the production and everyone globally learned this method. So they were the one to give this mass production concept to the world. And that's what then Toyota came into picture. Toyota redefined the game and practically the word lean was given by Toyota. They introduced what we call as Toyota production system. Till date, they use this Toyota production system, which we call as TPS. TPS was incorporated. The world got to know lean for the first time. Now, technically, these guys, well, just a quick background of this so that we understand how it worked. Basically, Japan was going through a very bad phase because they were into war for a pretty long time. The economy was in a bad shape. Plus, after the bombarding, the entire economy has wrecked completely. The country would have gone and filed bankruptcy. So practically see, it's always said necessity is the mother of invention. So the entire nation had to regroup again, and either they would have crumbled under pressure. Well, they did. They did what was need of the hour. Yes, they understood, and specifically talking about Toyota, they understood that we cannot beat General Motors. They are big, they're huge. When we talk about Ford Motors, we can't beat them. They have monopoly in the market. These guys have no problem of capital, no infrastructure problem. We have problem of everything. So whatever given resources we have to use full and complete resource. We have to utilize them fully. And that's what is lean. Full and complete utilization of resource, creating best out of nothing. They understood if we have to beat them, we have to beat them only with quality. We can't beat them in volume. We will make less cars, but our cars will be world-class cars. People should love the car. It should be cost-effective, less costlier than them, more robust, more comfortable. Everything should be better. Less warranty claims, yes. Toyota till date is known for its reliability. These guys crafted a masterpiece, which is Toyota cars. People loved it, and quality doesn't take time to be kind of known and appreciated. Investors started pulling in money, and these guys became big. They had a lot of investment coming in. Their problem was sorted out. Not only Toyota, everyone in Japan had somehow mastered this new technique called lean, and everyone was struggling to understand what this lean is all about. People were getting fascinated with Japanese quality. Everyone was kind of talking about Japanese quality. This was bothering some more people. History of Six Sigma. Lean was the reason Six Sigma came into existence. Otherwise, it would have never probably might have come later. But bottom line, it was hurting another big brand. Lean was hurting it. Motorola. Motorola is where it started. Six Sigma was developed in Motorola. CEO of Motorola, Bob Galvin. They were in a bad shape. They had complete monopoly in 2 products, Motorola Pager and Motorola Walkie-Talkie, which is used by police guards and security officials. And they were so big that if you check out on YouTube, you'll get the video that first communication which happened from moon to NASA This guy is holding a mic which has Motorola logo on it. They had complete monopoly. These guys started getting troubled by Japanese companies, newly mushroomed companies who were manufacturing pagers, walkie-talkie, much costlier, no warranty claims. People were complaining about Motorola. They were switching to Japanese companies. That was troubling them. They were losing market share and investors significantly. That's when a project was given to the senior scientist in research and development by the name of Bill Smith. He's known as father of Six Sigma. Another gentleman who was called as co-architect of Six Sigma, Dr. Michael Harry, MIKEL, well, that's how it is. Dr. Michael Harry, they were the one who put together Six Sigma. And technically, Bill Smith gets the maximum credit, but Michael Harry had also its role to play. In 1986, they announced it to the world that yes, we have come up with something called Six Sigma, a new term for everyone. Nobody knew what is Six Sigma. They claimed that this Six Sigma could give us a quality performance of 99.99966%. Well, world at that point in time was struggling for 90. Lean could strike up to 99% kind of quality. Well, Japanese also got a shock of their life. Is that also possible? Yes. They declared that this is the performance level of Six Sigma. Good part on the part of Bob Galvin. He never tried to keep it secret. He invited industries, companies to come in Motorola. They wanted them to understand how Six Sigma projects are done. He wanted industry to benefit. So they taught a lot of industries how Six Sigma project was done, how analysis is done, how it's carried out. They taught a lot of industries. And yes, big names stepped in. ABB, it's still there. They use Six Sigma, Asian Brown Bowery, Allied Signal, Honeywell. They were bigger in terms of volume, in capital, bigger giants than Motorola. They started using Six Sigma, and their cost saving, not revenue, cost saving was in billions of dollars. And that became talk of the town. People wanted to know, implement Six Sigma, stuff like that. Finally, the biggest game changer stepped in, which is who redefined the rules of the game, General Electric. General Electric was ruled, like probably not ruled, but CEO of General Electric was Jack Welch. Jack Welch incorporated Six Sigma as company philosophy. And we talked about DMAIC. Well, these guys had a role to play here as well. When we talk about Six Sigma framework, original framework did not have D. This was added by General Electric. Original version of Six Sigma had only 4 phases: measure, analyze, improve, and control. Well, these guys incorporated project management, courtesy General Electric. They said, well, these guys are huge, even till date. They used Six Sigma for themselves. They used Six Sigma for their clients, and they became consultants of Six Sigma. You have a problem, hire us. We'll solve the problem using Six Sigma. They made it so popular, even till date. If you want a job in Six Sigma, in General Electric, in a management role, any management role, you have to be Six Sigma certified, even till date. They are so critical about it. That's how it is with reference to General Electric. These guys are the reasons why we know Six Sigma to be so popular. So, but technically that's the history part of it. Is it okay and clear with everyone? Then we're pretty much left with last piece of information, which is very important. But then pretty much all your questions and will be taken care of. Is it okay? Shall we proceed? Perfect.
Yes, please.
Perfect. Now, last but not the least is the bells and rules. You're all going for yellow belt program. Congratulations. So, but bells and rules in Six Sigma. What is the expectation of the industry? White belt is what we have as the first belt. Then we have a yellow belt. Then we have a green belt. Then we have black belt. Then we have master black belt. That's where the journey ends. You have somebody by the name of champion, we'll talk about it. And then finally we have sponsor, and that's the end of. So these 2 people, champion and sponsor, they're not Six Sigma, they're not part of Six Sigma team. So, but we will be dealing with them. So we should know what they are. What is white belt? Let's talk about it. That's generally an awareness training. So it's generally whenever you want to do a Six Sigma project in an organization, you want to create an awareness, sensitization training. What you generally end up doing is you discuss a case study in your organization. Well, in our industry, similar projects were done, people have benefited. So you want to create an awareness about it. Just maximum, it's roughly about like 1 to 2 hours, whatever it takes. You might just explain them about case study, nothing about Six Sigma, nothing about tools and techniques, nothing, just about case study to create an awareness. That's what you talk about with yellow belt. No, with the white belt. Well, they don't become a part of Six Sigma project. Well, because you have not learned anything on Six Sigma, just you heard about some success story about Six Sigma. Yellow belt, very, very important part of every project. They are active team members of Six Sigma project, but they will not lead the project. Obviously, you need to know a lot of tools and techniques analysis. They will not lead the project, but will assist green belt and black belt or master black belt in the project, because they understand the language, they understand different tools used in define phase, measure phase, 7 quality tools. They understand the languages and all that. So practically, they will be assisting the green belts and black belts. So they will help the project to move forward. Very much required in every project. Technically, when do you start leading a project? A project leader is a green belt or a black belt. So what's the difference between them in terms of project management skills? Well, technically same. Why? Because both have to carry out a project from beginning till end. There cannot be difference in their skills of project management, define till control. Both have to carry out a complete project. Where the difference comes in is statistics. Statistics is here, it's more about low to medium impact. That's extensive, absolutely extensive. Why? Because there's something what we learn as design of experiment, way too statistical, but very, very important. This is statistical designing of product or service. This is all done in the black belt part. That's extensive. This is where probably even the COVID vaccines have gone through design of experiment. You statistically design and develop a product in research and development. You validate that statistically. All that happens through design experiments, statistical experiments. So all that is done here itself. It's right here. We learn that in black belt. That's what your products are. So you go and design and develop out here itself. You validate everything, not hidden trial. You know exactly what system tells you. Stats will tell you what changes should you make to get the desired output. That's immense control and power in terms of analysis. Duration of a project. When you do a real life project, we're talking about a real life project. A technical green belt project would generally take about 4 to 6 months. Exceptions can be there, but typically most projects green belt will take about 4 to 6 months. Black belts are more complex. Multiple departments could have been looped into as a problem. Then this takes more time, more complex, about 9 to 12 months. Two exceptions are there. We just complete about like 1 year and like 7 months or long project. It varies. It will 3 years, 4 years long project also. Exceptions can be there, but typically most projects will take that much time. Road. Green belt works within their department. Well, weird. In the beginning, I was all blabbering about Six Sigma has no boundaries, no industry. And now I'm saying they only work within the department. Yes, if you're working in the company, you work within the department, not as a consultant. As consultant, you can work anywhere. Is that a condition? Is that a rule? No, that's the culture. Because why is that? Somebody who's in, say, HR person, I was hired for doing HR job. I will still be doing 70% of HR job. The company will not hire. The department wants to do some, because you have got Six Sigma understanding. You can solve some problem in the HR department. I'm paying your salary. I need to take your benefit. So you will still be doing 70% job, core job, 30% on project. So, and that's when, because your salary is paid by HR, so you will be doing project within HR. The department basically owns basically the component, unless you're working as shared resource. But can a green belt work in other department? Absolutely, yes. Six Sigma has no boundaries. Maths has no boundaries. Project management has no boundaries. Quality management has no boundaries. But that's the culture. So operation guide has a project in operation. Finance guide has a project in finance. But can they work everywhere? Absolutely. Black belt has no limits. Cross-functional, pokes their nose everywhere. They're 100% on project, 100% project resources. The true project managers, hardcore project managers as black belt. Well, if I talk about the technical, like basically cost savings is another criteria. Well, that is truly dependent on the company. What will you call as a green belt project or a black belt project? This is decided by the company, because company's size matters. Well, if it's a small cell company, they can have a different criteria of calling green belt or black belt. Like General Electric, this is only for General Electric. They have decided that anything less than $10 million, they call as green belt work. Well, different companies could have different criteria. Well, you cannot have this scale for everyone. The stakeholders, managers, the stakeholders like VPs, directors, CEOs, CXOs, they will define that what do they call as a green belt or black belt based on their company scale. How big is the company? They might want to call it this is green belt and that is black belt based on cost saving. So that's completely dependent on the company stakeholders, how they categorize it. That's typical difference between green belt and black belt. Coming to master black belt, well, who is the master black belt? Technically an experienced black belt is the master black belt. Okay, would the master black belt do a project? Only if you're working in an organization, like if I join an organization, I won't be doing any project. But as a consultant, well, I'm the one who's doing it. But in an organization, you have a team, like 9 to 12 people will be working, and who are these 9 to 12? Will a mix of green belt or black belts will be assigned. So at one point in time, we manage and manage project 9 to 12 manage projects. So this is where you work more of a work as a mentor or guide, because green belt does green belt job, black belt does black belt job. What if they get stuck somewhere because of your diversified experience, knowledge of working in different industries, different challenges? Well, you pretty much end up giving them feedback and kind of coaching, help them if they get stuck. Practically, they will be working as a mediator between Six Sigma team and management. Well, generally, you'll not find unless it's a very big company, you'll not find master black belts. They generally turn into consultants because then the salary scale doesn't make sense in any given day. As a Six Sigma consultant, there's no match to that. Any which ways, that's where my Six Sigma belts end. Coming to champion, well, who is the champion here? We Six Sigma people call somebody as champion. So we call someone as a champion. It's not a Six Sigma designation. We call somebody as a champion. Who? The owner of the project. Whosoever is the owner of the project is what we call this person is the champion of the project. That means this owner of the project. Who is this person generally? The VP or the head of department where the project has been done. For example, it's HR related project, then VP HR. Probably anyone who's head of department is what we call as a champion. Technically, this person is my client. Technically, they would have they would have hired us to solve a problem, because they would have tried their best. They would have worked with their subject matter expert in that department. They may not have been able to solve it. So that's when champion will coordinate with the Six Sigma team that we want your help to solve this problem. So champion and the Six Sigma team will coordinate and initiate a project. So project approval, denial, or review is done by the champion. Champion is the technically the owner of the project. So success or failure of project is responsibility of the champion. You are the facilitator. You're just doing it, but champion's project. Champion is responsible for removing the roadblocks in the project. If somebody is giving you a tough time, somebody is giving you run around, not giving you data, but practically champion's project is getting hampered, not yours. So champion must be looped in. You must loop in champion immediately. Loop in champion immediately. It's champion's project which is getting hampered. Well, champion will take the person's happiness, because tomorrow the champion has to give answers to the sponsor, because who is sponsor here? The sponsor is the one who funds the project. CEO, CXO, CTOs. Well, can there in an organization, can CEO, can sponsor and champion be the same person? Absolutely. Small companies, you'll find sponsor and champion the same person, director or somebody who will be the one who's champion, who's reviewing it, approving it, and is funding us also. But typical matured company, you'll have two different roles. So we will generally will not be interacting with a sponsor, because that role will be done by the champion. We will have coordination with the champion. Having said that, last but not the least, before we move on, champion himself or herself maybe just a white belt. Well, could be a yellow belt, could be a green belt, could be a black belt, could be a master black belt himself or herself, or even none. You don't need to be a Six Sigma professional to be head of a department. That's an extra skill, that's an extra training. So yes, where you have a champion who is Six Sigma certified, then pretty much life is easy because this person understands Six Sigma. It's easy to communicate, convince. When you might get into a situation where you may not have the person who has understanding of Six Sigma, it's slightly difficult, but we don't live in a perfect world. We still, well, they are investing. It's their problem getting solved. They still cooperate, get things done. But you have to educate them. A lot of pain is of educating people who don't understand stats. But yes, if you have somebody who understands that, job is very, very easy. I've been doing lots and lots of training only for CEOs, CXOs. There are like one person or two people in the top management. I've been doing it projects for these training, customized trainings only for those and a lot of blue chip organizations globally. We've done these trainings. And nowadays, the way we've been seeing the trend, everyone in the top management is getting trained, and these are exclusive training. They want to do it, they want to understand, then they get everyone in the organization get trained. So first they understand. So it's a management tool. The top management has to believe, and that's how it trickles down. So practically nowadays we see more of the champions are actually Six Sigma certified, but it's a more of a management role. Six Sigma is a management approach, not a ground level force approach. But bottom line, to get better, that's the need of the art in the industry, to have the understanding of Six Sigma, because that's what will be required at some point in time. Nowadays, we've been training at like a lot of, I coach at various universities also, various like reputed institutions. And I asked their question, like, you get campus placements, like best of the corporates come to your facility. Why do you have to take a Six Sigma certification? And the answer was pretty satisfying, honestly, for at least for me, that when these corporates recruiters come in, they ask, well, have you done a Six Sigma certification? Well, that's what gives me a very positive why that yes, we are in the right place, because the demand of Six Sigma professional is increasing. Like post this COVID, it has gone too high because cost saving is a prime concern, and Six Sigma does cost saving. And that's what it's nowadays used for, doing cost reduction projects a lot. Practically helps a lot. But technically, that's what we had. We have from this like Yellow Belt webinar perspective. I hope I was able to share some bit of information, some bit of knowledge. In case you have anything that's left over, you need more clarity, you can talk about it. Else, I am sure there would be some question about the certification, about the recordings and all those things. Well, I can ask Michelle to step in and answer those for you in case you don't have any question related to the topics. Okay, then let's then hear it. Michelle, are you there? Michelle?
Hi, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir,
so-
I'm here.
So over to you, I guess. So we're done. So you can take it over. Like pretty much no such subject related questions we have. So you can just probably, I'm sure they have queries about the recordings and all those things. Kindly share that information with them. But yes, before you take it over, let me thank everyone. So thanks for your valuable time. It's been great to kind of getting a chance to communicate with every one of you. It definitely makes sense. So I would like to thank each and every one of you for your valuable time. I'm sure rest of your questions will be automatically answered by Michelle as you go for it. All right.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Shashi and everyone. Thank you, sir, for your very valuable training today. So that was very informative and fruitful discussion. And I would like to thank you, everyone, and good job also for making it till the end of the session. So we do hope that you all have enjoyed it. Moving forward, as a reward for tuning in and going back to the special announcement, which I have mentioned earlier, many of you might be thinking of getting the participation certificate. So this is a proof of your attendance for this training. So instead of paying the regular price of $50, for a minimal amount of $20, you will get the participation certificate. This is how it looks like. Okay, it's provided with a certificate number, session date, total duration of training, the logos of our international accreditation bodies, which is CPD and CSSC, or Council of Six Sigma Certification USA, plus the signatories of our company directors. And another package is Lean Six Sigma e-learning course with exam and certification. So what are the inclusions? Here you will have your e-learning access, examination, achievement certificates, plus free participation certificate, the trainer's notes, free access of today's recorded session as well. The recording is downloadable, so you can save it in your desktop or mobiles and watch it even you're offline. So whenever you want a recap or review this training session, you can use this downloadable session. So the regular price is $200, but only for today, you can avail this whole package by just paying $60. Okay, and the International Management Consultancy, as you know, have come up with this initiative to help out all the freshers and working professionals as a starting platforms to enjoy all the major benefits of being a Lean Six Sigma certified. What are the benefits of having that certification? Okay, having that certification, it will provide you to an endorsement to employers that you have an explicit skill set. Competition for employment can be severe as of now. So by having proof that you have awareness and you can apply Lean Six Sigma can set you apart from the crowd. Okay, another thing is that certified Lean Six Sigma professionals get good chance of growing to senior managerial positions. And another benefit is that certified professionals are amongst the highest paid professionals globally. So you will get an excellent salary out of it. And the fourth one is this is holistic, okay? Lean Six Sigma has holistic approach, meaning this is applicable to all types of industries, as Mr. Shashi already mentioned a while ago. So what is the e-learning portal? Once you avail the package of $60, you will get your own credentials. We will be providing you the username and password, which you can also reset if you want to change it. Okay. E-learning portal includes the e-learning materials, the ebooks, PDF presentation, pre-recorded videos, sample questions, plus the case study materials. And one thing more is the good thing about this is accessible for lifetime, meaning this doesn't expire. Anytime you want to review or check your portal, you can check it anytime. And all of these materials are downloadable. So even if it's offline, you can still use all the materials and review the PDF or the ebook materials. So this is how it looks like. It shows the virtual class recording here, some dummies, ebooks, course content with trainer's notes is here, and this is the portal that you'll use once you want to take your final assessment. Okay, about the assessment. Our assessment, the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt examination is flexible to be taken within 3 to 4 months upon enrollment. This is an open book online exam with 20 multiple choice questions, and the duration or the timings will be 30 minutes or half an hour, and the passing percentage is 50%. So out of 20, you just need to have 10 correct answers. And you have free 3 attempts of final assessment. So you don't need to worry. For example, you failed the first attempt, you still have 2 more attempts to take the assessment. So after you got certified, you will get dual certifications. Why 2 certificates? Because you will get from IMC, one from IMC and one from CPD UK London. Both are internationally recognized with lifetime validity. This is how it looks like. This is the CPD certification. And this is the IMC Achievement Certificate. IMC Achievement Certificate comes with logos of our accreditation bodies, plus the signatories of our company directors, and the unique certification number, which can be used by your employers or clients and any other stakeholders to validate the authenticity of your Lean Six Sigma certification you have received. This is also the CPD certification. or the continuing professional development. This is one of the largest accreditation body based in United Kingdom. As we have mentioned earlier that IMC is a proud CPD member, this organization or the continuing professional development, this is an avenue for professionalizing learning, which is based in United Kingdom, as I already mentioned. Okay, this comes also with unique certificate number, and the number of CPD hours and points is also mentioned here. So both of the certificates are internationally recognized and with lifetime validity, meaning it doesn't expire and no need to pay for renewal fees. So how to avail this package? To avail, you just need to pay it through online payment via Stripe Gateway. You will be required to fill out your name, email address, phone number, and card details. Once finished, you just need to click the pay button. For those who are facing some issues regarding this gateway, you can message us through email or WhatsApp, and then ask for the other gateways, which we have PayPal. You can also pay through Western Union or bank transfer. So I'm gonna share in the chat box the payment links for this offer. So I'm sharing it now. Can you please check? So I already shared it. So for those who are interested, you can just click on that link. And then you have to fill out the card details, your information, and click Pay Now button. Just to repeat, this offer is only valid for today. Upon payment, once your payment is successful, please send a screenshot to your respective counselor's email or WhatsApp to expedite the process and receive the following. So upon payment, you will receive payment confirmation from the service team along with a participation certificate form, which you need to fill out immediately and send it back to us, okay? And then after that, you will receive the participation certificate within 2 to 3 days upon receipt of the completed form. And then you will also get the examination guidelines, plus the login credentials. Login credentials or your username and password for your learning portal. Plus the recordings and class notes. This will be sent through Google Drive link. Okay, the link is already there in that same email, so you just need to click on that. So just for the information of everyone, the recordings and the class notes will be available within 2 days, okay? So avail now and don't miss this exciting one-day offer. So how to connect to with your counselor? So just kindly check your email invitation and reach them via email or WhatsApp. So just how to check the email or the WhatsApp, okay? For your convenience, you can just check that email. On the bottom part, you will see their email address. Some of you might receive an email from me, michelle@imclearning.com. And then to message me directly, just kindly click on this link, click here to message me directly to my WhatsApp, and then I'm gonna guide you, or click this WhatsApp icon button. And another announcement is that we are offering for those who are interested to avail or upgrade their belts, like to upgrade their Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt to Green Belt, we have this 50% to 75% discounted offer. This applies to Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, or the Green and Black Belt combo. Plus, we will be giving you freebies. Okay. Don't miss the chance to avail this limited offer and get certified. So for more information, please visit our page at www.imcinstitute.ae. This is how it looks like. This is our main page. Please do check our website so that you will know about our services, our team members, our accreditations, our educators or our trainers, plus our international corporate partners, our class schedules, and of course, our client feedbacks and reviews. Again, please do check your inbox for the payment link if you want to take advantage of this special offer, which is valid only within today. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and I will be staying for a few minutes here so I can answer if you still have more questions to ask before I end this meeting. Is there anyone who have some
Thank you.
doubts so I can? Yes, sir, you're welcome. Any questions?
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Richard? Hello?
Yes, hello. Any questions, sir?
Okay. Yeah, you mean we only have today to pay the $20 for the certificate?
Yes, sir, correct. Only today. The promo is valid within today. So please check out that link. If ever you are interested to avail, just kindly click that link and then click pay now so that the service team will prepare your access and all the forms that you needed for the certification.
Hi, Michelle, and thank you for this session. Can I ask you one question only?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Hi,